super healthy function of your body that you have to have. However, needless to say, all the sweat came back, thank God, after I got on the vitamin B12 injections. So those injections like really cleared up everything. And that was one of the first symptoms to leave because it was one of my last symptoms to come on. So I'm very grateful for that. Please subscribe, please be a part of this community. Please communicate to the rest of us the things you're going through and how you've healed, how you've gotten better. Or if you're struggling with something vitamin B12 deficiency related, please reach out and we would all love to help. God bless. So a very common symptom of a vitamin B12 deficiency that I hear about a lot is people having balance issues. Just trouble walking. I'm going to explain my story in just a little bit, but first, if you can go ahead and subscribe if you're interested in learning more about vitamin B12 deficiencies and how to overcome them, please hit that subscribe button, and here we go. It kind of feels like you don't know where you're putting your feet. It's like my foot's going there, my right foot's going there, left foot, and just walking, it just feels different. It is kind of hard to explain because you can see your legs moving, but you don't know if they're actually gonna like land in the spot that you're putting them. I didn't have it like terribly bad, but I could feel like things just be a little bit off. Couple that with the dizziness and the brain fog and the weakness, it was just like, yeah, the lack of balance is concerning, especially like, because I've been an athlete my whole life.
By Decker, and Decker's gonna clear. Oh, he falls down!
Kind of have to have balance to play sports, and it was just like, what is wrong with me? I'm young. I should be in good shape. Why I can't even walk properly. Like, not that anyone would notice, but I can notice for myself. So it kind of felt like I was in a major earthquake in 2010 in Haiti, and it kind of felt like in the earthquake, that lasted for like 36 seconds. That was going on forever. And when I was in the earthquake, it felt like I was walking on boards that were put on the ocean and just on the waves. And it's like, try to walk on those boards and try to get out the house before the house potentially collapses. It kind of had that similar feeling, not to that degree. It's kind of like walking on the boards on water.
Hit me! Teaches flamboyant shuffling techniques to dull blackjack dealers. And looks like he got dealt a bad hand.
It's just like put your right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot forward, left foot forward, and get to your spot. But it's just like, this feels weird, and I hope this doesn't last forever. So, but good thing is that with vitamin B12 injections, that went away pretty quickly. Again, like I've mentioned in other videos, the symptoms seem to come on and then leave in reverse order. So like this balance issue being one of the later ones to come on, it was one of the first ones to leave once I started the vitamin B12 injections. And I coupled that with fasting and just eating healthy, eating really healthy for a long period of time, and then fasting while doing the injections. That healed, like my body was like back to pretty much normal within 2 weeks. And that's crazy. That is not the case that I hear from a lot of people, but I was going downhill for over a year. I know I would have been within a month, I would have been in a wheelchair just because it was so laborious. Getting up and especially getting in and out of cars was like the worst. So I had major weakness, major brain fog. I had a ton of symptoms. So it wasn't like, oh, he just had a little vitamin B12 deficiency. No, it wasn't that. But yeah, I did something right. I get plenty of vitamin D. I'm always in the sun. I'm always outside. Just eating healthy, getting all those vitamins and nutrients really helps. It just helps everything work better, especially your dark green vegetables. You get that folate. It helps with B12 absorption. And then fasting while supplementing, just giving your body a rest, a break, and just letting it use its energy to really use those vitamins, use those nutrients that are stored up, that are in your bloodstream now, and just put them to work. Not having to use the energy to digest food. Now let's use the energy to heal the body. So that was the thinking there, and it worked. I know a lot of people are hesitant about fasting, and I get that. I'm just telling you what worked for me. Definitely, if you have a vitamin B12 deficiency and you're not able to absorb B12, then definitely you've got to be supplementing, whether that's sublingual or injections. But get on it as fast as possible, because you just don't want your symptoms to digress, to get worse. Because, obviously the longer they go without being healed, the longer it's going to take to heal them. We don't want to get to the point where you're going to have permanent damage. So let's nip that in the bud, and let's get on top of it and, get you better as soon as possible. So if you've ever had balance issues, go ahead and share your story here. Share what it felt like, and then share how you got better. Hopefully you're better now. Just share with our community just how you're feeling, and the things that you did to overcome this vitamin B12 deficiency. All right, guys, subscribe if you have not, and yeah, God bless.
Burning nerves, such a pain in the arm.
My whole body's a weapon.
I had burning nerve pain that came on really strongly, and it really hit me right here. So on my right arm, right below the shoulder, right above the bicep, and that burned so bad. It burned so bad. There was one in particular, I was on the phone, and it just came on strong, and it was just burning. It felt like a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire around my arm right there. And I had felt it other times, but never to that degree. This was one of the symptoms that came on later in my vitamin B12 deficiency. So it is one of the first symptoms that left as soon as I started taking my vitamin B12 injections, and as soon as I started fasting and eating a lot of green vegetables for their folate content, really cutting out processed sugar, and just eating all healthy things, especially green vegetables, and then of course always injecting vitamin B12, whether I'm eating healthy food or whether I'm going through periods of fasting, I'm always injecting vitamin B12. And that is what caused it to go away. But I had it here predominantly. Sometimes it would come just below the wrist. Other times I could feel the dull burning sensation at other places in my body, but predominantly my right arm. So if you've had this experience, please share your experience and how you've gotten better. Or if you're still dealing with it, maybe give some of the things I mentioned a try. Because the goal of this channel is to get everybody 100% healthy, 100% back to their regular life. So please, with all vitamin B12 topics, please share your experiences, the things that you've learned. Please hit subscribe, and let's create this community where we all help each other get fully healed. God bless.
What happens when you stick this electric wire in this bucket of water? Nothing, because there's no electricity. And you know who else sucks at conducting electricity? You do. Unlike this wire, your problem is not the lack of electricity. Your problem is that the electricity leaks out. So when the power lines inside of our bodies, aka our nerves, start to break down, then the electricity isn't able to be conducted to our organs to allow them to work properly. And when your nerves stop, you'll no longer be able to think, to breathe, to feel, to poop, You'll need a cane to get around, then a wheelchair soon after. You'll need magnesium pills to make your digestion flow, photos and note cards for your amnesia, stabilizers for your balance issues, thicker glasses to help you see, a blower to get rid of your brain fog, a respirator to help you breathe, and then a grave to hold your electricity-less deceased carcass. Too far? Deaths due to B12 deficiencies go up every single year. The good news is that this electricity conduction problem with your nerves is easily solved by healing the covering around your nerves, the myelin sheath, and the vitamin that does this is B12. Introducing B12 BU's all-natural pure methylcobalamin, vitamin B12. This will seal up your nerves like great white sharks on a South African beach. Vitamin B12 aids in myelin sheath function and nerve regeneration. It is also required for proper red blood cell formation and DNA synthesis. And the beauty of this vitamin B12 is that it's produced and manufactured in Europe, which keeps costs low and quality high. CVS sells their vitamin B12 injections for $35 a stick. Ouch! And they're on the cheap end of the spectrum. You might as well have the physician inject the B12 into your spine because it's like you're getting stabbed in the back. This product is only $4 per injection, which is less than the amount of gas money it would take you to drive to the injection clinic. $4, $35. You don't have to be a marathoner to know. That's gonna save you a lot of money in the long run. The vitamin B12 that CVS sells is synthetic, man-made, with additives and preservatives, which makes it more difficult for our bodies to process. So you're not only paying for the synthetic B12, you're also paying for the gas to drive to the clinic, the time it takes to get there, the physician fees, and other pretty things in the store that we inevitably buy upon sight. But our vitamin B12 has no additives, no fillers, it's just pure, all-natural vitamin B12. Our B12 vial contains a minimum of 40 injections. That's nearly a year's supply if you have a major deficiency, and over 3 years supply if you only inject once a month. That's a lot of B12. This enables you to make a single purchase and then not have to worry about it again for a very long time. It's recommended to combine this supplement with a healthy diet so that your blood is clean for maximum absorption of this vital nutrient. The power of vitamin B12 injections is that the vitamin is released directly into your bloodstream, getting where it needs to go. Many supplements don't work well because our stomachs are not able to absorb vitamin B12 due to lack of intrinsic factor, amongst other things, which is why we have a vitamin B12 deficiency in the first place. Vitamin B12 helps with red blood cell formation, DNA synthesis and repair, heart health, nerve function, energy boost. If you have muscle weakness, B12 will give you muscle strength. Brain fog? B12 will give you brain clarity. If you're dizzy, B12 will make you stable. Do you have tingling in your nerves? B12 will heal that. Do you have memory problems? B12 will cure that. So, if you're a human being with nerve issues, get the vitamin supplement that will heal your nerves completely. I'm living proof of it. We ship through Royal Mail and will provide a tracking number upon purchase so you can see where your package is along the way. If for whatever reason this supplement doesn't work for you, then we'll reimburse you half of your payment. No questions asked. Keep the entire bottle, it's all yours. All we ask is that you just tell us in a few sentences what your vitamin B12 deficiency experience has been like. Patch up your wires, heal your nerves, and get that electricity back to your organs so that they can work properly. Vitamin B12 has healed thousands upon thousands of people. Here's what they have to say. And last of all, there's me. I had a vitamin B12 deficiency that nearly killed me. I was looking at being in a wheelchair within a month, and I would have died within a year. But thanks to this vitamin B12 product, I'm now living my life again.
And now I'm here to help you get healthy. B12, be you, and get your electricity back.
I've been watching you. Just come to
I was dizzy for 3 months straight.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Good SpongeBob, I had the same answer.
And it's just kind of weird when you see the room just kind of shaking and wobbling. And I felt like it came on more at night as I laid down on my bed. And you just feel it. You just feel like the room is wobbling and moving and never still. I remember trying to look across the room and see the clock, and yeah, I could see it, but then also like my vision was a little bit blurry too, and then add dizziness and wobbliness on top of that, and it's just like, and I could hide it and no one could tell, but man, it just made everything that much harder. 24/7 for 3 months straight. I mean, compared to like heart palpitations and difficulty breathing, yeah, it's not as scary, but it's like, am I gonna live the rest of my life with the room spinning? How am I gonna do anything if like I stop declining in my health? You know, it's kind of a tough symptom to live with. I remember the moment it started, and then I remember how it went away. It came probably about a little over halfway through my vitamin B12 deficiency experience. When I started fasting, it took 2 days. I just set out to fast as long as I could. And I know the first time that I fasted for 6 days. It was two days. It was like when I woke up on day 2, the whole room just stopped. And it was like, oh, I can breathe again. I can see. It just felt like so good. I'm like, oh man, okay, I'm not going to be dizzy for the rest of my life. This is why I'm a huge proponent of fasting, because fasting is what did it in this one. Yes, add the B12 and all of that, but fasting, it cleaned up so many things. Like I felt like my brain fog was in part lifted due to fasting. The vitamin B12 really helped as well. But the dizziness, I could feel it. It just felt like the fasting really healed it, really put it over the edge and really brought me back. Because it makes sense. You're giving your body a break so that the body, instead of spending a lot of its energy digesting, now it can spend that energy going and healing and searching throughout, where does my body need healing, and bring healing to it. As long as we've loaded up on vitamins and nutrients so that the body can use those building blocks to go and repair or to heal your body. And trust me, I get it. Fasting is not fun. Nobody looks forward to it. But for me, it came down to, do I want to get better, or do I want to live like this for the rest of my life? And of course, we want to get better. So it's like, okay, then let's do what it takes to get better. That's it. It's not going to last forever. You know, sometimes you got to go through hard things in order to come out on the other end better. So if you have experienced dizziness or vertigo, please share your story in the comment section below. We would love to hear what you've been through, and hopefully you've recovered. Hopefully you're better now. We'd love to hear about it, and you know, kind of the steps that you've taken to get better. Please subscribe. Please help this growing community. Let's all help each other to recover our normal lives and, you know, to get healthy again.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I talk about vitamin B12 deficiencies and how I recovered from mine. I have always had oily skin. I grew up in the Caribbean, plenty of sunshine, humidity, and I've never ever noticed dry skin. However, about halfway through my vitamin B12 deficiency, I'd notice like I would scratch my arm and it would turn like the flaky white. And I'm like, what is that? Because I've never experienced that before. However, dry skin can be a symptom of a number of vitamin malabsorption issues. And I had a vitamin B12 deficiency where I just couldn't absorb it through my stomach. And that's what translated into all these symptoms that I'm talking about, but also dry skin was one of them. So one thing I had to start doing was using coconut oil to kind of combat the dry skin, and it works great. But that was definitely a new experience in my life. I never had to use moisturizers or coconut oil or anything like that. Wherever you are on your health journey, on your recovery from a vitamin B12 deficiency, I'd love to help. I'd love to hear you. I would love to just know your story. So feel free to reach out. Please subscribe and just be a part of our community as we help each other recover and gain our lives back. Thank you guys so much.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to talk about a fast heart rate with a vitamin B12 deficiency. So what the thinking is that the heart might pump blood faster to make up for the reduced amount of red blood cells in the body because of anemia. Anemia puts pressure on the heart to basically pump a lot more blood through your body and to circulate oxygen to every single organ.
They're on a loop. They go around the block. They come back. They go around again. They just go round and round. Round and round.
It's kind of crazy just how everything works together synergistically. That's why we have to have all of our vitamins, because they all serve a purpose and every organ serves a purpose. And if we're deficient in one vitamin, even if it's not vitamin B12, it's going to show up somewhere. It's going to show up with some kind of symptom somewhere at some point. So that's why we need to be eating healthy diets, guys. Healthy. Eat a big salad every single day. This is not a symptom that I had, actually. I think I had pretty much every single symptom that you can think of when it comes to do with a vitamin B12 deficiency, but a fast heart rate, I did not have that. Now, I've seen a lot of people reach out to me or just comment or on just searching up on Google and saying that they have a fast heart rate along with their vitamin B12 deficiency. My resting heart rate is around 55, 60 beats per minute. And that's just not a symptom that I noticed. I never noticed it increase when I was going through my vitamin B12 deficiency and all the symptoms I was experiencing. But a lot of people do, and a lot of people have. So if you're one of those people who have experienced a fast heart rate, please comment, please reach out, please share what you've gone through, because it really does help for other people to read other people's stories and to see that you can get through it, that you can recover, that you can become better. So please reach out, please subscribe, and please comment. I want to really grow this community, but also please share the informative videos with doctors or nurses or nurse practitioners or anybody in the medical field, because I've gotten so many stories of just people that are just tired of, you know, the medical system and just how it's failed us in regards to a vitamin B12 deficiency. How they seem to test for everything but B12, how we're not informed when we first get into it. Vitamin deficiencies are very rarely ever spoken about. It's usually, hey, here, try this drug. So, you know, when we're first entering into this type of thing, it's just like we have no idea. So if we can educate the doctors who know a lot about the body, who know a lot about medicine, but maybe not so much about vitamins and how they impact the body, please share. Please share this with your friends. And together, this channel is about healing every single person of their vitamin B12 deficiency. All right, thank you guys. God bless. Okay, so another symptom that I really struggled with when I had a vitamin B12 deficiency was fatigue or sleeplessness. I remember many nights where it's just very, very difficult to fall asleep, and part of that for sure was anxiety, but other nights I just couldn't fall asleep. And that went on for a long time. That was a long time. And then, you know, after months and months of that, there would be nights where I would sleep, but after sleeping 8-10 hours, it would be like, I didn't feel like I slept for more than 5 minutes. You know, I'd wake up and just like, oh, I'm still so tired. And that went on for a while. It was just so weird because I could sleep literally from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And then I get up, I'm just like, oh, I can't move. I just need to go back to sleep. And it's just so weird. So I've never experienced that before. So if you're having that, it could be a vitamin deficiency of some kind. It could be B12, it could be a different vitamin, because all the vitamins have effects on the body, but that one is definitely one to look out for. That's a very common symptom of vitamin B12 deficiency. So, but again, and if you take a look at my other videos, when I started eating healthy, when I got a lot of folate, and not just like folate supplements, which sure they could help, but when I started eating greens, like getting my green peppers, getting a lot of spinach, throwing some romaine in there, and cucumbers, and just every day, that helps so much. That helps with absorption of vitamin B12 and just getting it all in. Getting lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, more vegetables than fruits, but, you know, and then cutting out processed sugar, really allowing your body to heal, and then of course supplementing with vitamin B12. And if you can't absorb B12 through your stomach, then you've got to get it a different way. So either with the sublingual, so let it dissolve under your tongue and get it into your bloodstream that way, or do a vitamin B12 injection and, you know, do it that way. So yeah, fatigue, sleeplessness, that is another symptom to definitely watch out for. So yeah, I wish you guys the best. Always feel free to contact me with any questions or comments or anything. Yeah, God bless. So symptoms of a vitamin B12 deficiency are weakness, brain fog, fatigue, pins and needles, breathlessness, things like that. But another symptom or another byproduct of a vitamin B12 deficiency is fear.
I sense much fear in you.
I remember just having many nights where I would just lay on the bed and just be wondering, how am I ever going to get better? My body just continues to get worse and worse and worse. And that would just play on my mind. And I never had like anxiety and things where that would just get out of control in my mind. I always felt like, okay, I'm present. I understand the situation. I'm not freaking out, but it was just like, it is what it is. I'm not getting better. I continue to get worse every day. And this leads to one logical conclusion in the end. Fear of the unknown, fear of like, I remember watching videos with like people who had ALS and just how they would decline over the months. And because there was a point where I thought maybe I have ALS or MS, you know, two different things, but, you know, both nerve related. And just seeing how painful some of those endings could be, and just like, you know, that would cause fear in me. And fear can be a very motivating factor, because it's like, okay, we have a certain amount of time in order to find the solution, to find the answer. Otherwise, we're going to end up like that. Fear also, it wasn't just fear of dying. That was the biggest fear, obviously, but it was fear of like, okay, what if I just like level out? You know, what if my symptoms get down to a point where I'm so weak and just tired, and then it just kind of levels out. And it's just like, I'm just living in this state, because I would miss playing sports. I would miss working out. I would miss going out with my friends. I would miss traveling. And so it's fear of like that lifestyle too. I also had a fear of maybe God was putting the answer right in front of me and I wasn't hearing it, I wasn't seeing it. I also had the fear of being noticed, like have my symptoms being noticed, like, oh, he's weak, he can't open a lid off a jar, or he's having little like tremors right here by his eye, and it's just like, why is it just tremoring like that? You know, just nerve issues right there. You know, just being seen in public and just like having people, who knows what they would be thinking. So fear of like my symptoms being seen. I was able to cover up the symptoms a lot. Not many people would notice who would see me, but I mean, my family could definitely notice, okay, Mark is definitely not as active. He says he's weaker. He says he's really tired. His brain fog, his memory, all things like that, pins and needles. He says these things, but can't really see them, which definitely makes it harder when you have a vitamin B12 deficiency. And if you have one, you know what I'm talking about. It's impossible for other people to know what you're going through. Just like we can't know what anyone else is truly going through, no one else will really know what you go through when you have a vitamin B12 deficiency. And there's a whole point of like learning how to trust my body again. So after I got better, after I recovered and my limbs were strong again, and I could go running, I could go play basketball, work out, got my job back. After doing these things, it took me a long time before I could trust my body again, that it wouldn't give out or just wouldn't start to decline randomly. Because when you're going downhill for over a year, and it's just like you start to not trust your body. And then that played into like, once I got better and once I was able, it took probably about a year to where I could trust my body again. And then it was like, okay, now I can start to dream for the future again. Because now I can trust my body, I can relax. All right, now let's start to plan, let's start to dream, let's start to imagine, what can we do with the rest of the life we have left? Let's make it happen. And so thoughts and dreams would start coming back, but I never wanted to entertain those things before because I couldn't trust my body. And so if I can't trust my body, it's like, that's a waste of time to be planning for the future. I'm gonna not be around for very long. And I also had the fear of missing out on having a family, getting married one day, having kids, just going through all of life and, experiencing life and all of the amazing moments that life offers. And I didn't want to miss out on that. I wanted to experience those things. And I got to the point where I thought I was going to die. So naturally I'd miss out on all of those things as well. And that was also huge on my mind. But we got better now. Still single, so still looking. I would like to hear some of the things that you guys go through. What are your thoughts? What are your fears? Hopefully you've healed and recovered, and those fears are behind you. But, I think it is important to be vulnerable and to share, what you're going through, just so people can understand. And it helps to get things off of your chest and have other people hear those things. So if you feel willing to do it, we'd love to hear, just some of the things that you go through, some of the fears that you have. And yeah, we are all here to support each other and to help each other get better. So yeah, if you haven't, go ahead and click subscribe. That really helps support the channel. If you have any friends who are having nerve-related issues, maybe send them here, show them my story. You never know. I've had several people who have shared this YouTube channel or their stories and the symptoms, and it just happened to be that that friend had a vitamin B12 deficiency. So you never know. But yeah, you guys are awesome. I love the comments. I love interacting with you guys. So, yep. Take care. God bless.
This ache in my head is giving me such a headache. Remembering all of these symptoms when I was sick with a vitamin B12 deficiency is giving me such a... Okay, sorry, I won't keep going with the puns. I had never had a headache before. Like, I had to ask my family, is this what a headache feels like? Because I had never ever had one before. A couple of months into my vitamin B12 deficiency, I had this strong headache come on, and it came on my left side. It just came on right here. And at that point, now I knew what a headache was. And it just came here, and it just sat there. It hurt too, and it was mild to moderate all of the time, no matter what. If I'm sitting, laying down, standing, whatever, but if I would stand for more than a minute, all of a sudden it would just like start crushing my skull. It's like I would get up and go to the refrigerator to get some food, and I better do that pretty quickly because otherwise it's going to start really hurting. I could only last about a minute. I could only stand for about a minute or two. Otherwise I just couldn't stand it. I love these puns. Come on, this is why you subscribe. Please subscribe, by the way. Thank you. So I had to sit in a chair for most of the day, which I was doing anyway because I was feeling really weak and fatigued, and my limbs were super weak. I didn't feel like getting up, but then put on top of it like this mad headache. And the weird thing about it was, like, after 2 months of being right here, it shifted and it went up on top of my head. And it camped out there for about a month. Strange. And then after about a month, it shifted down to this side. So it was just, all right, we have a moving headache. But it was always constant. If I stood up for any period of time, it would just kill. So on top of weakening limbs, mad brain fog, blurry vision from time to time, then throw that headache on top of there, and it's just like, this is really tough. This is really tough. I've had people reach out to me and say that they have headaches, like a major headache. So if that's something that you're experiencing while you have your vitamin B12 deficiency, let's go ahead and start a dialogue about that, and let's see what has worked for people and what has not worked for people. So please share with us in the comment section below your experience with headaches as far as the vitamin B12 deficiency or pernicious anemia goes. As for me, that went away because I started eating like purely healthy. So many green vegetables. I fasted as well, and then vitamin B12 injections, and that headache has been gone. I gave that headache a headache. Let's go, get out of here. So that is what worked for me. So if something worked for you, please share it with all of us. Let's just create a culture where we all help each other to get back to 100% health. And please go ahead and subscribe, and let's just create this community. God bless.
So here's the follow-up testimony of what I posted yesterday. And this is the person who had a friend that they referred to vitamin B12 injections at B12BU. And this is their story, and it's incredible. So they wrote to me, Hello, Mark. A friend of mine led me to your site because we both have the same type of neuropathy issues. I started injecting B12 early November, and every day my life is being restored, one day at a time. It is shocking, it is unbelievable, it is amazing, and I am so grateful. I have been sick, very sick, since 2010 when both of my parents died. This severe level of grieving caused havoc in my body, and I almost immediately became diabetic, with gout on top of it. Shortly after, I had my gallbladder removed. Then with an endoscopic procedure, I was infected with E. coli, which made me suffer for 7 years with joint pain, neuropathy, and more. The virus settled in my joints. I lost mobility and a lot of my arm function. I was in severe, beyond severe pain. I was then diagnosed with endometrial cancer and had a full hysterectomy. Then, shortly after, I suffered 2 huge kidney stones that had to be surgically removed. Whew. I had broken heart syndrome as well. My doctor put me on metformin and more drugs. The diagnoses kept on coming in. Every day I was getting closer to dying. This past July, I went out for the first time since COVID for a dinner out with a friend who was visiting from another state, and I got serious food poisoning. And from that visit, within 4 days, was hospitalized for a week with severe kidney failure from the food poisoning. During that week, my 22-year-old daughter read up on every drug I was on, and she called me to tell me that metformin was killing me. I listened to what she said, and when I returned home, I took myself off of the metformin. Then this is when a client of mine called me to tell me about her own neuropathy and how she was curing it through vitamin B12 injections. She was so happy. She was wearing shoes for the first time in a long time. I trusted in what she told me and read about what metformin does with B12 and got online to order your B12. It arrived and I took my first injection. 24 hours later, the swelling in my left foot was down enough for me to fit into my shoes with ease. No pushing, stretching, or anything. I just put them on. I was shocked. Then I went through a good amount of metformin detox, and it was a massive struggle. I fired my doctor and found a new specialist who treated me from a whole different perspective. She took me off all my meds and replaced it with 2 drugs, one to treat my heart failure and the other to settle down my blood sugar. I told her about the B12 injections, and she was excited that I found it. With all these changes, my energy was restored, my neuropathy is way better, and I am now able to walk at times without a walker. I am no longer nauseated, no longer have explosive diarrhea, no longer have those deadly intestinal spasms, and now I'm able to eat food without any consequence. I can't even begin to tell you how different I am. But the most important thing of all is now that I have hope. And that's for me too. That was like the biggest thing when I got on vitamin B12 injections. I'm like, I have hope. I can dream of the future. I can think about the future and plan and start to build that way. I don't feel like I'm dying anymore. I feel almost back to who I was before this tornado of illness occurred. And I know for certain that it's the B12 that did the majority of the work, because if I don't stick to my every other day injection, I feel a definite fall into the pit of doom again. Hopefully we can get it to where you're not injecting as often, but definitely at times in the beginning, for a while, you have to inject a bit. But yeah, we're going to keep working on that. But I'm so glad you're doing better. She goes on to say that I wanted to tell you about my incredible success story in hopes that it may help someone else who is suffering like I did for 10 years. Try the B12 and see how you feel and see what changes occur. Don't be scared, just do it. It's easy to give yourself a shot. You just have to get past the first one and then you'll be okay with it. I agree. That first one was hard, and then after you're like, oh, it doesn't even... Most of the time you don't even feel anything. Sometimes you feel a little prick, but I'm not 100%. I'm probably just 30% better, but 30% better is like night and day difference. I'm now able to do other things that will keep me on track. I upgraded my diet. I'm now able to put more and more movement into my life slowly. And I am energized. Wow, I am energized. I am crazily energized and so happy. Every day I wake up happy. I'm so happy my friend showed me your site, which allowed me to learn about metformin and B12 deficiency. It's obvious to me that I've been B12 deficient for many years. You have turned my life around. You've offered me blessings that I didn't think possible anymore. I am so grateful, so appreciative, and so happy. Every aspect of my life is changing on a daily basis. I feel alive again, with so much respect and honor to you. And then she followed that up a few days later, saying, hey, Mark, well, I am in tears daily when I wake up and I pinch myself and feel my energy. Seriously, I cry multiple times a day. One doesn't really understand how much suffering they are doing until the suffering gets reduced and then it hits you like a ton of bricks. And you ask yourself, how did I survive it? Well, I barely survived it, but I'm really glad I'm still here. I am taking folate 400 capsules, and with your suggestion, I am going to try some dark leafies that I will grind up into my smoothies so that it gets easier to digest. Or I'll make sure I put them in my Instapot whenever I'm cooking something up. And she finishes up saying, yes, you can share my testimony. If it wasn't for this person sharing with me, I'd still be in hell. So share, share, share. Big hugs to you. Thank you so much for sharing your testimony. For those of you who also have a testimony like this, and it doesn't have to be from my B12, it could be from any vitamin B12 supplement or injections or whatever. I just want to hear about stories about how vitamin B12 restored your health and, gave you your life back. So if you have a story like that, please share it in the comments below or email me. My information is in the description below. And let's really build up this community where we can share hope, give each other hope again, of becoming active again, getting our lives restored, and just planning for the future. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and share this with anybody who might be having some neuropathy issues. And especially if you know of someone who's on metformin, that is something I'm going to make a video on a little while later. But yeah, this is one person's experience. So take care. God bless. All right, so we have another testimony of someone who about 2 months ago, they got the vitamin B12 from B12 BU, and they reached out and they wrote, hello from Arkansas. Just wanted to check in with you and let you know that things are going much better. Thank you so much for your help and for the B12. Happy New Year. So I responded with, nothing makes me happier than hearing that. Have your symptoms improved a bit? And yes, Happy New Year. And she responded with, they have. I was afraid I was going to end up in a wheelchair and eventually die. I could barely walk or stand. I had most of the symptoms you did. Now I'm so much better. And yeah, I was the same way. It got to the point where I was almost in a wheelchair because it was just like so laborsome to get up and walk and just balance issues anyway. Can't feel where I'm putting my feet, and it's just a lot of effort, especially getting in and out of cars. So I was just like, I was over it. So I was getting to that place. I was really thinking, a wheelchair would be a lot better. And then, yeah, the logical conclusion is when your symptoms keep going down, 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 you do think you are going to one day pass away. So I totally understand where this person is coming from. So I responded with, wow, that's incredible. I hope and pray that you continue to gain strength. Keep eating enough folate, green vegetables, to help with B12 absorption. And yeah, I just asked if she minded if I shared her testimony. And she said, thank you so much. Without access to the B12 that you have, I really don't know what I would have done because my doctors wouldn't prescribe it. Please don't stop providing this invaluable resource. And I don't mind at all if you share my testimony. If it can help others, I'm all in. And I just said, yeah, I was in the same boat, and that was my motivation for starting this channel in the first place, was to help people like us. Because I do remember going through this whole experience, and I was just like, I wish there was someone I could have reached out to, who was having the same symptoms and who had been down that road before, who could have, guided me through some of these pitfalls. And yeah, sometimes doctors don't know much about vitamins and their interactions with the body. So they're not always going to know to test for vitamin B12 deficiencies. And most all the time they're going to prescribe medication and drugs. They're not necessarily going to prescribe, get some vitamin D, get some vitamin B12. I don't know. It wasn't my experience, and I went and saw probably over 30 doctors. So yes, this person was experiencing major weakness, and they thought they were gonna die. Weakness to the point where, gonna be in a wheelchair, and I'm sure. So that shows that their legs were weak. I'm sure their arms were weak too. That's very natural. It kind of starts in the peripheral, and then works its way towards your main internal organs. So, for me, with my weakness, it started on my arms and my legs. And then over the months, I could start to feel my breathing get difficult, the heart palpitations, the brain fog. So, if these are some of the symptoms you are experiencing, definitely get your B12 levels checked out. But I hope this is encouraging for you. And yeah, please reach out, please subscribe, please share your story. Just let's encourage each other. This is really cool that I've had 3 people reach out with their stories. So let's all keep sharing and keep encouraging each other, and we'll all get there. God bless. This testimony came in a little bit over a year ago, and he wrote, "Hey Mark, I just want to inform you that my symptoms are getting better. It feels like I am missing 1 or 2% from healing completely. The healing process is slow, but I am getting better. I am also very thankful that you did your video and helped me identify my disease. The first time I saw your video was when I was in a clinic. I went there because I was not able to sleep, got depression, muscle weakness, tingling, burning tongue, problems breathing, some kind of inner disturbance and anxiety, a few times something like panic attacks. I was not able to really relax, and so on. I hope that they could help me. Now, all the symptoms disappeared except the nerve tingling and muscle weakness. The docs in the clinic tested my B12 and B9 serum test and said that it's not possible that my symptoms come from a B12 deficiency. Doctors and vitamin B12, they just... I see this time and time again, and it happens so many times in my own experience. Basically, it gives his B12 numbers, and then he did other tests that confirmed he actually did have a B12 deficiency. So, because of your video and the listed symptoms online, I was quite sure that it has to be a vitamin B12 deficiency. I had almost all of the symptoms, so I had big luck not to believe the docs in the clinic. There you see how important it is to be kind of skeptical when docs talk to you, and to go on to find the root cause of the problem, not to give up. Most of the docs in Germany have no idea or knowledge about this vitamin. Because of your video and your information, I am sure that I was able to identify the problem earlier. And that makes me happy, because that's what I'm here for. Literally, that's what I was searching for when I had the vitamin B12 deficiency, and I couldn't find anybody. There was nobody that I came across that I could reach out to and be like, hey, what's up? Why am I having all these symptoms? How did you get better? Blah, 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 right? So he said, without your video, surely it would take much longer. Worst case would be not to identify the B12 deficiency. And yes, that's the goal of this channel, is like to help people identify that they actually have a B12 deficiency and to help every single person recover. So he went on to say, therefore, I'm so thankful that you did your videos and that you still do the videos about the vitamin B12 deficiency. For me, it feels like you saved my life. Well, that's awesome. I'm very happy. It makes it all very fulfilling and glad I could help. And we're all going to help each other. We're all going to help out together. So hope this was encouraging. He said most of his symptoms disappeared at this time and he just had 1 or 2% to go. He listed all those symptoms. They all disappeared. He still had a little bit of tingling and weakness, but you know, with the right diet and getting out in the sunshine, and then the B12 injections, I'm sure he's doing just fine. So yeah, hope this was encouraging. Take care. God bless. Alright, so heart palpitations. That was definitely the last major symptom that came on. It's probably about a year and a month into my vitamin B12 deficiency where I started to feel those heart palpitations. And it was definitely the scariest one. It was by far the scariest one, actually, because, you know, you feel weak in your limbs, or if you just can't think right, or if you feel a bit dizzy, you kind of think those are all going to go away, or you can still manage with those, but like once it starts to hit your heart, that's when it's just like, okay, this is a real deal. Like we got to heal this soon or something bad could happen. So I was subbing for art class at the time, and that's when I could start to feel the heart palpitations, and it came on pretty strong. I could feel it as I'm like reaching up to turn the projector on, as we watched how to draw a penguin or, you know, other characters like Pikachu. And I remember doing it for elementary class, and it was just so scary because that's your heart. That's your major organ right there. That's where it all starts. That's where you, without blood flow, without that heart pumping, it's over. Hey guys, go ahead and please subscribe so that we can all together form this ecosystem, this community where we help each other heal 100% from any nerve damage that we have. So I remember like reaching up to turn the projector on and off. I don't know why, but that's like the strongest memory that I have. And I think just that stretching motion in and of itself made it worse somehow. So I'm basically thinking, I've tried all of the doctors, I've tried all these different things, nothing's worked. I literally get worse every single day. It seems like a new symptom, a new like big symptom pops up every couple of weeks. Now it's hitting my heart. It started on the outside, on the peripheral. Now it's working its way towards the inside, and it's only getting worse all the time. So that's when I really thought, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I cannot find the answer. Tried everything and I'm only getting worse. Now it's attacking my heart. So I'm like, I'm done. That was in my mind. I'm just like, I better just soak up these last moments, really enjoy my time with my friends, like however few times I have left doing that, and enjoy my time with my family, because it's just really not going to last that much longer. But the good news is that since it was the last symptom to come on, it was the first symptom to leave. So that was awesome. Once I started on the B12 injections and fasting, eating greens, like it totally cured me. and it was very reassuring. I could finally breathe. I finally had some peace of mind. I could sleep. A lot of my symptoms would come on at 7 o'clock at night. For whatever reason, that's when I could feel it the most strong, but the heart palpitations, that came on at any point of the day. It really didn't matter, day or night, while I'm laying in bed or while I'm out, whatever. It really had no rhyme or reason. Also the tingling also just at all times of day, but a lot of the symptoms, especially the weakness, that would come on at 7 o'clock at night on the dot, like it was crazy. But the heart palpitations, and so then it kind of forces you to like live in fear, like, oh no, when's it gonna hit again? And is it gonna be worse? I mean, it just started off small, and then it's kind of getting a little bit worse, and my whole body in general just seems to be going down. So it's like probably every symptom is just going to continue to get worse, to get stronger. So is that going to continue with my heart? How quickly will that continue? All of these questions go in your mind, and it just adds to the fear of the whole experience. Fill up on vitamins and nutrients naturally, and get rid of anything that doesn't belong in your body, and you're gonna see your health improve so much. Okay, don't cop out. Don't be like, oh, I'm getting rid of all this stuff in my body when there's still a lot of stuff in your body that's junk. Get rid of it. Like, there's no shortcuts in this. You have to do this. If you want your health to come back, you have to do this. I can't say this strongly enough. So I have a lot of people who want to continue their unhealthy lifestyle, but then they want to get better too, and it's like, okay, it's not like you have to swear off all forms of junk food forever, for all time, like, but during the healing phase, probably a good idea. During the rebuilding phase of your body, probably a good idea to only stick to natural vitamins and nutrients. Alright, if you want to learn more about how to cure the nerve damage that you potentially have, check out this video playlist right here, or check out this video right here as to what YouTube thinks is best for you.
I'm someone who had major nerve damage, major neuropathy. I had a vitamin B12 deficiency to the point where I thought I was gonna die. I was almost in a wheelchair and I thought I was gonna die. So here are some of the symptoms that I had. Brain fog, weakness,
I've fallen and I can't get up,
dizziness, pins and needles, difficulty breathing, muscle twitching, heart palpitations, balance issues, blurry eyesight, tingling, memory loss, vertigo, brain inflammation, anhidrosis,
Jafar, can you hurry up? I'm dying in here.
pain in my limbs, pounding headache for months at a time, especially upon standing, gastroparesis, polyps on my tongue, shaky hands, dry skin, dry hair. And so with all of that, here are some of the things that I tried in order to heal myself. Doctor's medications, colloidal silver IVs, tonics, nasty antiviral herbal concoctions, zappers, hyperbaric oxygen chambers.
I am your father.
Enemas, tons and tons of supplements, ointments and creams, acupuncture, car saunas, regular saunas, infrared saunas, chiropractors, lots of them, Atlas orthogonists, faith healers,
Bam, bam, bam.
essential oils, eating garlic by the cloves, amongst tons of other things. Okay, so after trying all of those things, here's what worked. And I guarantee you, these three things, if you do these three things, you're gonna improve drastically. I promise you. I promise you. So these three things are, number one, eat healthy. Then go on an extended fast. So the second thing would be to fast. And then the third thing would be vitamin B12 injections or vitamin B12 shots. Start with vitamin B12 injections or vitamin B12 shots, because especially if you have a severe vitamin B12 deficiency or severe nerve damage, neuropathy, definitely I would recommend to start on the injections, vitamin B12 injections, because your body has a long way to go to catch up. There's going to be a lot of damage there, and it'd be good to just flood your system. So like right away, I would start, if you know that you have that now and it's severe and you've got symptoms just all over the place and weakness, tingling, pins and needles, memory issues, all of that, heart palpitations, can't breathe, I would definitely, at that point, definitely get on vitamin B12 injections. That was the case for me and my story, and that was the case for countless other people that I've talked to. So that's what I recommend. If you do not have a severe deficiency or severe nerve damage at this point, then I'm gonna make another video on what I would recommend for that. But this is for if you're severe, if you have tons of symptoms and you don't know what to do and you don't know where to start, this is where I would start. Eat healthy. Get all of the vitamins, the nutrients, everything you need, get that inside of your body. So eat lots of fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetables. Eat the rainbow, and what I mean by that is eat lots of different colors, because with different colors come different nutrients that are vital to the health of your body. So eat a wide variation of healthy foods, eat what comes from the earth, and then once you've stored up those reserves, got that your storage full of vitamins and nutrients that your body can work with, the building blocks for your body, then go on an extended fast. So the second thing would be to fast. And I don't mean just fast for one meal. I mean fast for 3 days, fast for 5 days, a week, even fast 3 weeks, 21 days. Go on an extended fast. That will help so much. I'll put a card where you can see another video that will explain more the benefits of fasting, but real quick, fasting gives your body a break. It allows your body to heal itself, where it doesn't have to spend the energy to digest food. We take so much energy to digest food that it's better for healing purposes if our bodies can spend that energy instead searching all throughout where does healing need to take place. Fasting also just cleanses our system, it cleanses our temple. So it's gonna clean out anything that doesn't belong in our bodies, and at the same time allow our body's energy to go through and see what needs fixing, what needs healing, and make that happen. So the first thing would be to load up on vitamins and nutrients through food, organic food from the earth. And then the second thing would be to go on an extended fast. And then the third thing would be vitamin B12 injections or vitamin B12 shots. I'm not gonna stick myself with a needle. I just stabbed myself and it didn't hurt.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
My life has been anything but normal. My dad was a missionary pilot, and that's what took us to Haiti. My mom was a teacher. We moved there when I was 5 years old. Growing up overseas gives one a unique perspective on life. For instance, I can get through international airports, but I had no idea how to work a simple lawnmower. In 2010, a devastating earthquake hit the nation of Haiti. It just caused so much damage in Port-au-Prince, the surrounding areas. Hundreds of thousands of people died. It affected everybody. Literally everyone knew somebody who passed away during that time. I survived that earthquake, not knowing that 7 years later I was going to have another event that would literally rock my world. One summer morning, I woke up to what I thought was a stroke. My right leg was suddenly weak, like really weak, and I was sweaty, I was confused, and then all of a sudden my left leg goes a little bit weak, and I am wondering what's happening. I had work later that morning, so I swung my legs out of bed and labored towards the bathroom and got in the shower, but the whole time I was like really afraid that my legs would completely give out. While I was in the shower, I suddenly felt my arms get weak too. Literally had no idea what was going on. I was very naive about medical conditions at that point. I did end up going to work later that morning, but I continued to feel worse and worse. I was tutoring a kid from South Korea. I was feeling hot, I was feeling dizzy, I was feeling confused, I was feeling sweaty, and I could feel myself just getting worse and worse a little bit by little bit. And so what I did, he didn't see it, but I wrote down my brother's phone number so that he could, in case if I ended up collapsed on the floor or something terrible happened to me, then my South Korea kid could call my brother to come get me. I mean, I didn't know what else to do in that moment. I mean, I literally thought I had a stroke, but from my limited knowledge, I thought, okay, wait, don't strokes just happen on one side of the body? Why is this affecting both sides of the body? Soon after, I ended up in the ER. Something was wrong, definitely wrong. And thus began the long road of seeing doctor after doctor after doctor. CT scan with contrast, perfect. MRI of brain, neck, and spine with contrast, perfect. $2,000 blood test, perfect. But I was not perfect. I was not even close, and I was getting worse. My symptoms declined basically at the same rate every single day. It never took a day off. It was every single day. And by the way, I was ignorant at the time that simple blood tests do not cover everything. They don't check for everything. I thought they would, especially if they're going to charge you $2,000 for it, but they do not. You have to get a specialized test to check your B12. In total, I saw about 30 doctors. Medical doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, chiropractors, naturopaths, yet none of them told me about a vitamin B12 deficiency. None. So after seeing about 30 doctors and getting nowhere, just getting more broke and getting more sick, I decided to take matters into my own hands. Side note, I broke my elbow in 2 places during this whole ordeal because I decided to go roller skating with friends. And the reason I decided to go roller skating with friends was because I wasn't sure how much longer I would be able to do things like that. I didn't know how much longer I had until I was in a wheelchair. So, yeah, going through this whole B12 deficiency, and then I ended up falling and breaking my elbow, and back to the doctors. Yes! Back to my story. Seeing that I was getting nowhere with doctors, I was spending more time in the office filling out paperwork than I was actually spending time with the doctor to try to figure out what was wrong. It was basically diagnose and adios, because all they would do is spend maybe 3 minutes with me, maybe if I was lucky, and didn't really feel that they cared. I felt like 2 or 3 actually cared.
I'm a mammal that cares.
But out of 30, like, come on, what are you in that profession for? It got to a point where it's ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, I stopped seeing doctors altogether. My mental processing was also getting worse at the time. I mean, it got to a point where, like, I'm not even sure if I can remember my brother's name. And it was like things that I knew, I couldn't recall them, I couldn't remember them.
My name is Jason Bourne.
I was also constantly dizzy. I was dizzy for 3 months straight, like not even a second of a break, like 3 months straight. And sometimes at night my head would be pounding, it would increase the dizziness. And it was like the room was just wobbling. It was just wobbling the whole time. And it's so annoying and so scary, especially after 3 months. It's like, is this ever gonna go away? There's a point that I heard about fasting and the benefits of fasting. I mean, I'm up for anything at this point, so I gave it a try. And the first time I did it, I went on a 6-day water fast. By day two, my dizziness lifted. Wasn't dizzy anymore. All of a sudden, I just woke up and I'm like, whoa, why is the room not spinning? It's always spinning. Why is it not spinning anymore? And it was like insane. I'm like, what? That's all it took? Yeah, I mean, if you research fasting, if you do it properly, there are so many benefits to it. I came across so many testimonies. It was definitely worth a try and worth it. My thinking was that I wanted to reset my body, start over. So I did lots of fasts. I did a 6-day fast. I did a 10-day fast, 11-day fast, a 21-day fast, and even a 33-day fast. All just water fasts. And during those times, like, wasn't as hungry as you would think you would be, but I mean, it's definitely difficult, and you get bored because, like, you want to eat food. Food is, like, so fun, and you miss it. But I felt like a lot of my sports injuries, like, clearing up. I felt just a lot of things kind of correcting themselves within my body. But the one thing that wasn't fixing itself was my nerves and just the incremental decline every single day. So fasting wasn't the answer to that. So, okay, now we got to figure that out, right? I'm up for trying a lot of different things. So here we go. Here are some of the things that I tried. Infrared saunas, zappers, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, faith healers,
Bam, 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 bam.
an Atlas orthogonal, acupuncture. The infrared saunas got to be too expensive, so car saunas. So basically, I would park my car in the sun in Dallas in the summer, keep the windows up, and sit inside and sweat my face off for as long as I could handle it.
Jafar, can you hurry up? I'm dying in here.
Saunas have a lot of benefits, so I gave it a shot, but it was not helping this particular thing. After trying all these things, nothing was happening. I was still getting worse. So then my next thought was, okay, maybe I have a virus embedding itself in my nerves, and I'm gonna have to just attack that thing and just go at it. And that led me to load up on antivirals. Load up is an understatement. Antiviral herbal concoction. Huge jars of, like, the nastiest liquid you would ever consume. Colloidal silver IVs. More saunas. I ate garlic by the cloves. Not the bulbs, not the single bulb, but by the clove. I would chop it up and mix it with honey, consume it. Whew. So after trying all of these different things, I was still getting worse every day. So I figured that's it. I'm dead. I don't know what else to do. There's literally nothing else I can do until vitamin B12. So if none of the 30 doctors could tell me about a vitamin B12 deficiency, then who could? Well, that's where my dad came in. My dad was praying one morning, and he walks really close with God, and he felt impressed by God to send me back to Haiti to have, it's a long story, but the kids that I was helping, the kids that I've known for a while, to have them pray over me. He wanted to send me back to Haiti, have them pray over me, and he just felt like I'd find the answer then. So I'm thinking, that's insane, because I don't even want to go through an airport. I'm getting weaker every day. My arms are getting like harder to lift up, and it's like, come on, this is gonna be a waste. Honestly, that was going through my head. He said he would pay for it, and that if I didn't feel well to continue there, just come on back. So I agreed to go. I brought like 3 shirts, and I didn't even bring my computer because I'm like, I don't want to have to lift it out of my bag at the airport. It's one more thing to lift. And so, yeah, a couple shirts because I'm like, I'm not going to be here very long. So, little faith. Right? So I get to Haiti. I have a bunch of kids that I knew, had them pray over me, and said thank you, and didn't think much of it because this has been over a year of like trying all of these different things and nothing working, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm not gonna find it. I'm not gonna find what's wrong with me. So, however, the next day I ended up eating lunch with a friend, and he said, he asked about my symptoms and everything and how my health was, and I explained it to him, and he said, hey, I was going through some of those things, not to the degree you are, but I was feeling numbness and tingling and some weakness in my limbs, and one of my doctors here in Haiti told me to check out vitamin B12, and so I'm like, it's not a vitamin deficiency because I eat clean, I eat perfectly healthy, and I eat a wide variety of healthy foods, all the different colors, and yeah, I've got my vitamins. It's okay, bro. But he's like, no, vitamin B12, you get that. You don't get that from plants. You don't get that. You get it from certain meats. That caused me to think a little bit because I haven't digested meat well for years. So I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. Instead of going to get another test, I'm like, okay, they'll either show me that I have vitamin B12 deficiency or that I'm fine with my vitamin B12. So I decided just to get on the supplements like right away. It's a water-soluble vitamin, so it's not gonna hurt me in any way. So I get on the sublingual supplements, and I have them under my tongue, absorb them, and a day goes by, another day goes by, another day goes by. I'm like, okay, chalk that one up. Another thing that doesn't work, right? But I still have the bottle left of vitamin B12, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna finish it, and then we'll move on to the next thing, right? But by day 4, I get up and I'm like, I notice my limbs are not weaker than the day before, and that was the first time in over a year my limbs were not weaker than the day before. And then throughout the day, I felt it get a little stronger. I'm like, what? That doesn't happen to me. I've tried so many different things. And nothing worked. And now I'm taking a little stupid vitamin B12 sublingual, and that's what's helping? Really? Really? I was frustrated. I was like, why am I getting better? I was frustrated at the doctors, and I was frustrated that it was so simple. It was really the stupidest thing ever. So I'm like, okay, now I've wasted a year plus of my life when I could have just been on vitamin B12, but okay, I guess I'm glad I'm getting better. There's that. So I continued with the sublingual, and I felt like I had to take a lot of it for it to make an impact on me. I probably swallowed too much as opposed to letting it absorb sublingually. That is a difficult word to say. So apparently my stomach would just not absorb vitamin B12, and the sublingual was having some impact for sure, but I wasn't getting better to the degree that I thought I should be, and that I wanted to, and that I knew I could. There's something in me, I knew I could improve a lot. Because I was probably a month or two from being in a wheelchair. I was just getting so laborious getting up off the couch or getting out of a car. It's like hard. I'm like, okay, this sucks. I'm just gonna sit down all day because it's hard. But then there was one more option with vitamin B12 that was presented to me, and at first I'm like, no way. I know myself. There is no way I am going to stab myself with a needle and inject vitamin B12 directly into my bloodstream. That's not happening. I cannot do that. How am I supposed to stick a sharp object through my flesh? I can't do that. There's no way. I mean, it's scary even when a trained professional does it. I can't do it to myself. No way. Not doing it. But there's no way I want to keep living with these symptoms.
False. Master's my friend. You don't have any friends. I'm not listening.
I just want to get better. I want to walk normal again. I want to run again. I want to play sports again. I want to be normal again. I want to have my life back. I don't want to have to worry anymore. I want to live again.
Please! I want to live again! I want to live again!
Okay. It's decided, because I cannot go to a clinic and pay all this money to get one injection or get a group of injections for a lot more money. It's not possible. So I have to get the vitamin B12 solution myself and inject myself. That is literally the only option. It's decided then. Out come the needles. Got me some vitamin B12 solution, methylcobalamin, and filled up the needle, the syringe, and went to inject myself the first time.
And here we go.
Breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not gonna stick myself with a needle. Okay. Breathe again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Stick. Wait. What? That didn't actually hurt. That didn't hurt. What the heck? I thought sticking a needle in myself would hurt. It didn't hurt. I just stabbed myself and it didn't hurt. Okay. This isn't so hard. I gave my nerves the nourishment they need, and that's all it took. I was literally feeling so much better within a week or two.
We told him to go away. And away he goes, precious.
Honestly, it brought me back to life. I was back lifting weights, working out, playing sports, coaching, got my job back. It brought me back to life. And now I want to help you get your life back. Let's do this.
Okay.
You good?
Yes, I'm good.
B12, be you, live your life. Let's go!
This product is only $4 per injection, which is less than the amount of gas money it would take you to drive to the injection clinic. CVS sells their vitamin B12 injections for $35 a stick. Ouch! And they're on the cheap end of the spectrum. You might as well have the physician inject the B12 into your spine because it's like you're getting stabbed in the back. The vitamin B12 that CVS sells is synthetic, man-made, with additives and preservatives, which makes it more difficult for our bodies to process. So you're not only paying for the synthetic B12, you're also paying for the gas to drive to the clinic, the time it takes to get there, the physician fees, and other pretty things in the store that we inevitably buy upon sight. $4, $35. You don't have to be a marathoner to know that's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. But our vitamin B12 has no additives, no fillers, it's just pure, all-natural vitamin B12. Our B12 vial contains a minimum of 40 injections. That's nearly a year's supply if you have a major deficiency, and over 3 years supply if you only inject once a month. That's a lot of B12. This enables you to make a single purchase and then not have to worry about it again for a very long time. Our vitamin B12 has no additives, no fillers, it's just pure, all-natural vitamin B12. So, if you're a human being with nerve issues, get the vitamin supplement that will heal your nerves completely. I'm living proof of it. And the beauty of this vitamin B12 is that it's produced and manufactured in Europe, which keeps costs low and quality high. We ship through Royal Mail and will provide a tracking number upon purchase, so you can see where your package is along the way. If for whatever reason this supplement doesn't work for you, then we'll reimburse you half of your payment. No questions asked. Keep the entire bottle, it's all yours. All we ask is that you just tell us in a few sentences what your vitamin B12 deficiency experience has been like. Patch up your wires, heal your nerves, and get that electricity back to your organs so that they can work properly. Vitamin B12 has healed thousands upon thousands of people. Here's what they have to say. And last of all, there's me. I had a vitamin B12 deficiency that nearly killed me. I was looking at being in a wheelchair within a month, and I would have died within a year. But thanks to this vitamin B12 product, I'm now living my life again. And now I'm here to help you get healthy. B12, be you, and get your electricity back.
I've been watching you.
When I was going through my vitamin B12 deficiency, I couldn't find anyone to turn to, anyone that had answers. I went to 30 doctors, none of them had any answers. I searched everywhere online, I couldn't find anything. And so my purpose is to create a place online and to create a product online where people can come to that has all the information that they need, has a product that is actually affordable and is pure and all natural and actually gets the job done. Because I saw so many different physicians. Once I figured out on my own that I had a vitamin B12 deficiency, then I had to find the correct vitamin B12 product that would actually heal my body. So I tried a lot of different supplements, oral, sublingual, finally got on injections, and then I came across this vitamin B12 product, and this is the one that healed me. Within 2 weeks, it was a really quick healing. But it took over a year and a half to figure all this out, and I don't want anyone to go down that road. I don't want anyone to face what I faced, to have their symptoms just become so big and so far down the road. I don't want them to have to go down that road. I want them, to catch it early, and that's my goal here. And so that's why I've created this product, and I'm here to help you. I'm here to save you from your health deteriorating And I want to see you get healthy as fast as possible so you can get back to your life and get back to doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, hi everybody. I'm going to show you guys how I do the vitamin B12 injections on myself. What I use is the methylcobalamin. This one I have not added the saline solution yet, but this one I have, and I've covered it so that the light does not touch it, so that it doesn't degrade, so that it's at its highest potency. But what I do is I'll just open up the cap to make it ready, and then take my alcohol swab, and then I just clean the area that I'm going to inject in. Just let that dry a little bit. Then take your syringe and fill it to as much as you need personally. You're gonna have to test that out on yourself. It could take a little time, but I found what works for me. So it's there, but I've got to get rid of the air pocket, so I'm just gonna tap it a little bit. And usually I do this in the dark, or just a darkened room, but you guys won't be able to see. So yeah, so now the air pocket has reached the top, so I'm just gonna squeeze this just gently. It's hard doing it at this angle. Usually I do it at a different angle. But yep, okay. So I've squeezed the air pocket out from the top, so now I'm not injecting air into my system. Just straight up vitamin B12. Then I go back to the spot, the area that I cleaned. Pinch it together a little bit. Relax. And then just put it in. Boom. And then I'll take the alcohol swab and just go over the area again. Then cap. You're not supposed to cap it like this. You're supposed to actually cap it, like put this part on the desk and then slide it in. But this isn't my normal routine of where, the location where I do it, so I'm just doing it so you guys can see the process. And yeah, put all your toys away and you're good to go. This will last me at least another 4 or 5 days. But I'm feeling like I need less and less of it the more I do it. So that's great. And I'm feeling so much better, you guys. I'm serious. If you're having nerve issues, I would definitely try this. I thought it was an insane idea as well. But I've literally tried so many different things that I'm like, okay, I'll try this. It could be the thing that I'm missing. And lo and behold, it was. So I'm so glad that I did, and now I'm back working and playing sports and loving life again. So yeah, I wish the absolute same for you, and God bless. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mark Williams, and I'm that vitamin B12 injection guy, because it's worth a shot.
Stop! Stop it!
Alright, today I'm going to talk about folate.
It's never too late to learn about folate.
Folate is essential for brain function, for red blood cell production, for amino acid metabolism, and for DNA synthesis. Vitamin B12, B6, and B9 work together to control blood levels of the amino acid homocysteine. High levels of homocysteine are associated with heart disease. And because folate, vitamin B9, is so integral to the way vitamin B12 works, that they need each other. So if you're consuming a lot of vitamin B12 through supplements or through injections, if you don't have enough folate to go along with that, the vitamin B12 injections really won't be that powerful or effective. So my goal is to make your vitamin B12 injections or your vitamin B12 shots as effective as possible. So in order for that to happen, we have to make sure our folate levels are also high enough where it can be effective. Because I just don't want us to think that we can just do vitamin B12 injections, vitamin B12 shots, and then we're good to go. Like, that'll just cure everything. And that's not the case necessarily. That will definitely help your vitamin B12 deficiency, but it might not cure it if we don't have enough folate to go along with it, or if our blood sugar levels are just sky high, if we're eating a lot of junk food, if we're not sleeping well, then the vitamin B12 injections won't be nearly as effective as they could be. So I want us to make sure that, yes, let's get our vitamin B12, but at the same time, like, we have to make sure these other things are in place in order for that vitamin B12 to be super effective and to get our body back to 100%. Foods that contain folate: asparagus, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, spinach, leafy greens, peas, avocados. See a pattern here?
Because I'm green, isn't it?
Bell peppers, citrus fruits, nuts and seeds, papaya, bananas, legumes, eggs, beets, beef liver, wheat germ. So not only are these foods rich in folate, but they also contain other nutrients and vitamins that will improve your body's overall health. So how do you get a folate deficiency? One way is that you don't eat enough foods that contain folate. So your leafy greens, your citrus fruits, your legumes, your beans. So if you're not eating enough of these things, then it's definitely possible that you could end up with a folate deficiency. Another way is if you drink a lot of alcohol. Alcohol can affect our intestines to the point where we're just not as easily able to absorb folate. So that's definitely another potential cause. And then another cause would be that your small intestine just isn't working properly the way it should be. People with celiac disease can experience this, where they're just not able to absorb nutrients such as folate. Okay, so how do you treat a folate deficiency? So the first thing I would do, eat a lot of leafy greens, green vegetables. Try to consume it the natural way, through foods, get your vitamins that way. If that doesn't work, then I would switch to a supplement that you swallow, see if that works. If that doesn't work, then I would move to a sublingual, underneath your tongue, supplement that you absorb into your bloodstream underneath your tongue. If that doesn't work, then I would move to injections. So I would start with the most natural, least invasive way possible, and then just progressively move towards injections and see if any of those things work along the way. All right, I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about folate. Just remember, it's never too late to learn about folate. See you next time.
Oh my god.
That looks so cool though, like with the light reflecting off the water.
Look at his.
Is that one? That one's sunshine. But how cool is this? I was literally talking to Salem about, like, have you seen any starfish? And then, boom, about an hour later, we're looking down and we see starfish. Look how big that is.
Wow.
Oh my god. Dang.
He said, he was like, it's big.
Wait, hold that one up. That is huge.
That'll be Mark's.
Oh my gosh. That's SpongeBob. That one's SpongeBob. We named it sunshine, which is cool because the sun is also a star. Here we are. Oh, get up. Everything. Where you at?
No, I haven't found some crazy elixir with vitamin B12 taken from the tentacles of starfish in the depths of the ocean that will cure everyone of all their ailments 100%. Although, who knows, maybe that's a thing, I don't know. But what I do know is that if I did not start on vitamin B12 injections when I did, I would be dead. I would not be experiencing the beauty of Haiti, the ocean, and finding starfish right now. I mean, I was nearly in a wheelchair before vitamin B12 injections, so I would not be doing backflips off a water trampoline in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean without them. Vitamin B12 injections gave me my life back, pure and simple. I was on a downward health spiral for over a year, and when I got on the vitamin B12 injections, I was healed within about 2 weeks. So my goal here is to give you your life back. I got my life back, I want to give you your life back. You can get better. You can get healthy. And if you think you would like to give vitamin B12 injections a shot, then contact me through the website listed below.
Get your vitamin B12, BU.
What happens when you stick this electric wire in this bucket of water? Nothing, because there's no electricity. And you know who else sucks at conducting electricity? You do. Unlike this wire, your problem is not the lack of electricity. Your problem is that the electricity leaks out. So when the power lines inside of our bodies, aka our nerves, start to break down, then the electricity isn't able to be conducted to our organs to allow them to work properly. And when your nerves stop, you'll no longer be able to think, to breathe, to feel, to poop. You'll need a cane to get around, then a wheelchair soon after. You'll need magnesium pills to make your digestion flow, photos and note cards for your amnesia, stabilizers for your balance issues, thicker glasses to help you see, a blower to get rid of your brain fog, a respirator to help you breathe, and then a grave to hold your electricity-less deceased carcass. Too far? Deaths due to B12 deficiencies go up every single year. The good news is that this electricity conduction problem with your nerves is easily solved by healing the covering around your nerves, the myelin sheath, and the vitamin that does this is B12. Introducing B12 BU's all-natural pure methylcobalamin, vitamin B12. This will seal up your nerves like great white sharks on a South African beach. Vitamin B12 aids in myelin sheath function and nerve regeneration. It is also required for proper red blood cell formation and DNA synthesis. And the beauty of this vitamin B12 is that it's produced and manufactured in Europe, which keeps costs low and quality high. Most of us, my story starts the day I was born. My dad is a missionary pilot, and that's what brought us to Haiti. Now, I absolutely loved growing up in Haiti. A lot of experiences you can have in places like Haiti that you just can't have in the States. Things were definitely tougher, harder, but I felt like going through some of these things caused us to have deeper relationships, deeper friendships. I would not exchange my time in Haiti for anything. I absolutely loved it. As a young adult, I led a youth group for several years, and I had some of the best times in my life with that youth group. I've never seen kids as hungry for God as they were. And now that they're adults, many of them are doing some amazing things for God. Now I'm back teaching at the school that I grew up in. It's
roughly about 280 students total from pre-K to 12th grade. It's American accredited, very fun atmosphere, very good school. I've noticed one common thread. I like sports, stories, working with kids, and Haiti.
Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah.
Number 2 was a vitamin B12 deficiency health scare that made me think that I was gonna die. I've already made a video about that, so you can check out that link in the description.
We'll never be alone, Savannah.
I've been playing sports, creating stories, working with kids, living in Haiti for almost my whole life. And after those 2 near-death experiences, that's when I know that I'm committing my life to these things. So here's what I do. I teach middle school math, I coach volleyball, I do English lessons, I've helped lead youth groups, I make short films for ministries and organizations, I write screenplays, and I invest in the lives of orphans.
Alright, you guys know what that is? You know what that is? That is a 5K time right there, 23 minutes, 17 seconds. We come out here every single Sunday morning, we run. I've decided to run a 5K every single Sunday morning, and this is what I was doing this morning. When I was at the peak of my vitamin B12 deficiency, if I had to run a 5K, I would have ran that probably in 2.5 hours, because someone would have been pushing my wheelchair at that pace, because I was not going to be running. I was going to be walking for maybe a half a lap, and then after that, definitely a wheelchair. So now I'm up, I'm going, I'm active every single day, and this is awesome. Let's go, guys. I know you can do it. Let's push, let's go.
What has your vitamin B12 deficiency experience been like? What I want, what my dream is for this channel is that every single person who comes across this channel with a vitamin B12 deficiency or neuropathy, nerve damage, anyone who comes across this channel to be fully healed in their bodies. And I don't have all the information, you don't have all the information, but together we have a ton of information and we can help each other out. We have tons of experience, stories, testimonies, and knowledge and wisdom that we can share with each other. What I would love is that if you could share your experience with the rest of us so that we could learn from each other. If you could go ahead and just type it out in the comment section below and just share your story. That way, someone might be going through the exact same thing that you're going through, or vice versa. And it just helps when you know someone else has been there and you're able to learn from them, or you're able to help them. And that's what this channel, that's what this community is all about. So go ahead and share your story with us. Also, if you would like to send me a video recording of yourself sharing your testimony, sharing your story of your vitamin B12 deficiency, please send it to me. I'll post it here, make it public, and I just want to create an ecosystem where we're all helping each other get healthy, fully healed, back to living the lives that we're called to live, back to living our purpose. So thank you very much for watching. God bless. Look, I'm here because when I had a vitamin B12 deficiency, I wish that there was a YouTube channel or something that I could have come across that would have saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of hassle, and a lot of time. Because when I had the deficiency, my symptoms were getting worse every single day, tangibly, physically. So time was something I knew was running out. None of the 30 doctors that I saw told me about vitamin B12, so I had to figure it out a different way. And you can watch my story here to see what that's all about. But I'm here to save you money, and I'm here to save you time. When I first found out that I had a vitamin B12 deficiency, I started on the supplements, on the sublinguals, and those helped. And then I started going to clinics and getting injections. Those helped too, but not to the degree that I thought they would. And I was paying about $40, $50 per injection, so I'm like, there's no way that I can sustain this. So this vitamin B12 product that I'm selling, that's the one I'm still currently using and will be using for the rest of my life. It's pure, all natural, methylcobalamin, vitamin B12. So if you're interested in ordering it, go ahead and click on the link below. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mark Williams, and I am someone who had severe neuropathy, severe nerve damage, and it came from a vitamin B12 deficiency, but I healed it, and I just want to share my story with you guys. There's something that I want to bring up that I just want to clarify about. In my case, because I had a severe deficiency, it was way better for me to start with the B12 injections, with the vitamin B12 shots. Because when you're so deficient, you have a long way to catch up, a long way for your nerves to go in order to work properly, in order to function properly. So in the cases of severe deficiency, especially with the fact that vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin, there's really nothing to lose. It's worth a shot, pun intended, of just trying it. Just try to see if that's actually going to help your nerves get better, especially if you have a very severe deficiency. But if you're just starting out, if you're just starting to feel some neuropathy, if you just have a little bit of tingling, or if you feel like your mind isn't working how it once did, just a little bit, or just forgetting little things, or little pins and needles, or tingling, maybe a little weakness, if you're just starting out with this nerve damage, then I would say definitely start off with a supplement. Just start with a supplement you can swallow and try that for a week. And if you don't feel any different, if you don't see your symptoms getting any better, or that the decline has stopped, then at that point, that's when I would try sublinguals. So then I'd go to the kind where you put the tablet underneath your tongue, the vitamin B12 tablet underneath your tongue, so that it can dissolve and then absorb it into your bloodstream that way. Okay, and then I try that for a week, every single day. And if there's no improvement that way, then like if your symptoms are still getting worse, if you're still feeling the tingling, the pins and needles, all of that, if you have the brain fog, the memory issues, whatever it is, whatever, because it all surfaces in a different way with each different individual. But if those are not getting better, if they're continuing to decline, definitely, then I would progress to the vitamin B12 injections. But again, if your neuropathy is not that bad and it's just starting, definitely start with the easiest thing, the least invasive thing, which is just swallowing a supplement, and then progress from there. However, if you have a severe vitamin B12 deficiency or just severe neuropathy or nerve damage in general, then I would definitely start off right away, ASAP, get on vitamin B12 injections or vitamin B12 shots and see how that affects you. See if that will make you better. There's literally nothing to lose. You can only get better or stay the same. So it's worth a shot, and that's my recommendation. After everything that I went through, that is 100% my recommendation. And the people I've talked to within group chats or face-to-face, they would recommend the same thing. So if you have a different experience, I would please love to know about it. I'd love to hear about it. Please share it with the rest of us. If you have more wisdom to give on this topic, please, by all means. This is a channel where I want every single person who comes across this channel to get fully healed of their nerve damage, of their neuropathy, of their vitamin B12 deficiency. So I don't know all of the information, you don't know all of the information, but together we know a lot, and we can accomplish a lot by sharing our stories, sharing our testimonies, sharing our knowledge. And so if you have any further insight, please comment below, please share with us, even send me a video and I'll post it publicly for us all to see. Like, I just want a place, a safe place where we can discuss these things, and I want to see people get better, and I don't want to see people ripped off. I don't want to see people taken advantage of because, oh, you're vitamin B12 deficient? Okay, we're gonna charge you $55 per injection. Like, that's insane, that's ridiculous. So I sell my injections for $4, less than $4 per injection. And those injections can last you for a week to a month, even a few months, depending on where you're at and how your body is. So again, please share any information, share your stories. We'd love to hear about it. Thank you very much. And since I've been healed from my deficiency, I've been able to come back to the country of Haiti, where I teach at a local school and I serve at an orphanage and just do a lot of different things that one does when they're in a third world country in order to serve the people and help the country move forward. So what I'm asking is that if you feel the desire to donate so that I don't have to work odd jobs, part-time jobs, summer jobs, and distract from the focus of being able to just simply be here and simply to serve. These things take away my focus, take away my time. So if you're able to donate, that would very much help me and very much help my cause here in Haiti. Hi, my name is Mark Williams, and I'm all about vitamin B12 injections because it's worth a shot. Now, I had a severe vitamin B12 deficiency. I had neuropathy, I had nerve damage to the point where I was almost in a wheelchair and I really thought I was gonna die. So today what I want to do is I want to read off testimonies of people with all the different symptoms and types and all of that. I want to encourage you guys with whatever you might be going through. So there's hope. I know we can heal. I know we can get better. And these people are proof of that, as myself very much included. So here we go. Isaac says, I was diagnosed with moderate to severe polyneuropathy 3.5 years ago and was vitamin B12 deficient. My ankles, feet, hands, and fingers were swollen, numb, and painful. Soon after, I discovered these vitamin B12 injections and my pain started to subside almost immediately. It is exceptional. Cheryl says, I've had cancer and have issues with hair and skin after treatments. I use the vitamin B12 shots and they have helped so much. I've tried other companies, but they come and go and quality is iffy at best. Love, 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 love you guys. Wade says, I have been using the vitamin B12 injections for months and my energy and metabolism has increased tenfold. I just started some of the nutrients, so I can't wait for the results with that as well. Jeannie says, not to be confused with the blue Aladdin character, I have used a few rounds of B12 BU's methylcobalamin vitamin B12 injections in the past, and I was amazed at how much of a difference I felt within an hour of each dose. My energy was through the roof, which in turn helped me with my stamina, and intensity. I like how I said stamina. And intensity when working out. I would highly recommend the methylcobalamin vitamin B12 to anyone that has been struggling with low energy and looking to take your training to the next level. It has also helped me in a way that I wasn't expecting. My hair was thicker. Come to find out, hair loss can be a symptom of a vitamin B12 deficiency. Sonia says, the doctor discovered that I had been with the vitamin B12 deficiency for a long time. He advised me to take vitamin B12 injections and to get my previous health back. Incredible. It nicely worked. It didn't work nicely, it nicely worked. Within a few weeks, I started to feel well. Before taking vitamin B12 shots, everything was going worse day by day. Mark tells us that I am on a gluten-free diet. As I found out, I am celiac gluten intolerant, which can apparently contribute to the loss of ability to absorb vitamin B12 through the gut. Vitamin B12 shots saved me. Jim says, after being diagnosed with pernicious anemia, my doctor recommended vitamin B12 injections. Since taking these vitamin B12 injections, I have noticed a huge difference in how I feel, and my labs have been terrific. Scotty says, I have been using this product for a year. My vitamin B12 went from 180 to 1200. It's a great product and I love it. My doctor is also thrilled with the results. Terry says, I have MS, multiple sclerosis, and I can feel the difference that vitamin B12 shots make. Thank you so much. Becky says, I take vitamin B12 injections regularly as I seem to no longer absorb it well from food. This is the best vitamin B12 supplement I have ever used, and I've tried many. I will continue to use it because the results are worth it. Gregory G. I was diagnosed with low vitamin B12, and despite taking sublinguals, it wasn't until I tried vitamin B12 injections that my symptoms went away and I felt like myself again. Thanks! Exclamation point. All right, Ron has a story for us. Here we go. I had been suffering from IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, for about 12 months. I had seen 4 different doctors and had many types of tests, including looking at my upper and lower GI with cameras. The doctors basically told me that they could only treat my symptoms with pain pills. They do not know why some people get IBS. I will not go into telling you about the many symptoms that I had, except to say physically I was a wreck. I was fortunate enough to be mentally okay and spent what little energy I had online looking for a reason. After reading about different ailments that were being treated with vitamin B12, I decided
to start taking some oral vitamin B12, but this did not work. Then I read that vitamin B12 cannot be properly digested if you have conditions related to low vitamin B12. A catch-22. So I found B12BU and ordered the methylcobalamin vitamin B12. Within 2 hours of my first injection, I had relief. No, I had total relief. This was to me at that time crazy. Over a year of suffering, and now I had hope. It has been almost 2 years since my first injection. I eat well now, exercise, and take my vitamin B12 injections. I have lost 70 pounds now. I'm a very strong, healthy, 60-year-old man. I keep a healthy outlook on life because of being healthy. Thank you, Ron. Karen, I have used the vitamin B12 injections and it was amazing. I had increased energy and felt much better than before. Jerry, since I have started my vitamin B12 injections, things have been a major improvement with my general overall being. This is the best thing I could have done, thanks to your support in getting me back on track. Tammy, I have tried every diet out there. I lost 50 pounds and now I eat right and work out faithfully. The vitamin B12 injections was the additional boost I needed to take off the extra pounds and maintain my ideal weight. Thank you. Brittany, as a nurse, I've always tried to be healthy. I've never had an issue with these injections. This product truly works. Vitamin B12 injections are my favorite. Thank you so much for keeping me healthy. Marissa, for years I struggled with holding on to weight and never feeling right. I was tired all the time. On the inside I was screaming to run and jump, but my body was not fully fueled. I attributed this to the birth of my first daughter 5 years ago and decided that this was the tiredness that I would become used to as a mom. I then developed more severe symptoms of anemia and vitamin B12 deficiency that I found runs in families of Northern European descent. This was a major wake-up call for me. Anemia made me feel fatigued, dizzy, with tingling in my feet and head rushes. My anemia was caused from the blood loss during childbirth. My body was never able to fully recover and I realized that I needed a boost. I knew that B12 helped boost my energy and mood, but it is also needed to restore blood cells for the function of the brain and nervous system. I researched vitamin B12 injections and found that they are the most effective way to get this vitamin into your system. I found that at the doctor's I would be paying $40 for one shot, plus driving there twice a week. I wanted a reputable company and felt safe ordering from B12BU. I used to be afraid of needles, but once giving myself a shot, I realized that done right, you don't even feel it. Not only do I feel great, but I've also lost 25 pounds. My body feels amazing. All of the years that I spent feeling fatigued made me want to tell moms that they don't have to feel that way. Thank you, vitamin B12 injections, for helping me restore what my body lost and for helping make my body better. Jeffrey says, vitamin B12 injections really helped me with my depression. It's helped me a lot. It's actually helped me more than depression medication, SSRIs. Coralie says, I started reading about the benefits of vitamin B12. I thought it'd be something good to try. I've noticed that I'm much more alert for a greater portion of the day, and I'm not suffering the afternoon slump. Alright, Tessa says, I lacked the intrinsic factor to absorb vitamin B12 from food since I was in my 30s. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 times, and now I'm age 55. I increasingly find that I am dependent on vitamin B12 for energy, mood, and weight maintenance. I can tell when my levels are low without a calendar, as this usually occurs about 3 to 5 days before the end of the month when I am due for my shot. Connie says, I feel more energetic and I can focus more during the first 2 weeks after my vitamin B12 injections. Brooke, I was on vitamin B12 injections years ago and I felt good. My workmates even mentioned how I was different. I have a thyroid problem and I have started my vitamin B12 injections again. I'm feeling great. The vitamin B12 injections help 100%. Cassie, I am on the shots for vitamin B12 and it works like a charm because I first noticed my feet burn like someone put a match under my feet and lit it. But since I've got the shots, my feet been doing better.
Helps so much, I will probably have this shot the rest of my life. I had issues, this is Jerry, I had issues with my health, so after consulting with my doctor, I am taking vitamin B12 injections. Now I'm feeling amazing. Lori. I have been using vitamin B12 injections for close to 20 years. I suffer from thyroid problems and am currently treating with pills. I also have goiter, fibromyalgia, RHA, osteo, being tested for lupus, which is almost a yes for sure, panic disorder, which is chronic, and several other minor things. I use 1500 cc of vitamin B12. This aids in pain relief as well as a mood enhancer, and also puts you down when you're too highly strung. It also keeps your skin so pretty. I go weeks sometimes when I forget to take it and my body screams, please get me the vitamin B12. It seems to help your nervous system and pain so much. I take this to ease some parts of pain for what it works on. When the weather is nice, 1000 cc a month. It seems to be keeping me normal. I love it. Zane. It makes me feel younger. Esther. I had a partial thyroidectomy in 2016 and then a complete thyroidectomy in 2017. Since then, I struggle to daily have energy just to get out of bed. I've tried everything, but since getting on vitamin B12 shots, I'm feeling back to myself again. Thank you very much. Risa. As a nearly octogenarian, I wondered how much I might improve my overall health, energy, and vigor. I searched the internet and discovered that vitamin B12 might be the answer. After seeing the testimony, I decided to try it. The result has been fantastic. I have experienced tremendous improvement in clarity and marked improvement in my energy level. Highly recommended. Should you all want to improve your overall level of health. Bonnie. It's been a month and I'm feeling more energetic and my down mood has been lifted. I now swim laps in my local pool 3 times a week and participate in group fitness classes. I realized I'd forgotten what it feels like to actually feel good and enjoy life. Kevin. I have Crohn's disease, so I don't think I absorb supplements or nutrients very well. In the past, I had tried sublingual vitamin B12 and it worked a little, but now that I'm on vitamin B12 injections, it works like a charm. Kate. I wish I had started the vitamin B12 injections when I first noticed the neuropathy. Better late than never. If you have a vitamin B12 deficiency, give it a shot. Pun intended. Kate B, that's what I'm talking about. I love me some puns. Let's go. Jonathan. One of the select few products that lives up to its benefits. After a week of doing vitamin B12 shots, I began to sleep better, longer, and feel like a new person. My mental fog decreased, allowing me to get my day started. I highly recommend this product for anyone experiencing constant fatigue and the feeling of being mentally drained. James says, B12 has really helped with my CIDP. CIDP, chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. Bam, talk about that for mental clarity, to remember what CIDP means from 4 years ago when I thought I had it. Let's go. James, I'm very glad that's helping you. Nathan, I wasn't sure if I had ALS or MS, multiple sclerosis, or GBS, or Lyme disease, etc. Come to find out, it was a vitamin B12 deficiency all along. How simple of a fix. These vitamin B12 injections healed me fast. And there you have it. There are a lot of vitamin B12 injection testimonies that show just like the different symptoms that people can be experiencing, but they can all heal from, or definitely improve from. So if you have a vitamin B12 deficiency and you're on supplements, you're on injections, and you have a story where you're improving your health, please share it with us. Please comment in the section below, in the comment section below, or send me a video. I'd love to just share that publicly, just to encourage the community to create an ecosystem where we're all helping each other to get fully healed. Every single person that comes across this channel, I want them to get fully healed, fully restored, so they can get back to the life that they are meant to live their purpose.
there, my name is Becky. I am a real live person. I live in Austin, Texas in the US, and I've been taking cyanocobalamin injections. I'm giving them to myself for about 25 years. I am missing my ileum, or I've had my ileum removed because of Crohn's disease, and basically I haven't been able to absorb B12 since I was a little kid. So my levels have always been super low. Like, I've never been able to get above 350. And doctors were always just like, well, I don't know, I guess your body doesn't want it, right? No, it's because cyanocobalamin does not work for me. So maybe 4 years ago, I was able to find a doctor who noticed that and just said, hey, you know, you can try something else. There's other options. So he put me on methylcobalamin, and immediately my level shot up to like over 1500. And I felt like I was alive for probably the first time in my life. It was crazy. Anyway, I ended up losing him as a doctor because he retired, and I ended up moving, and so I lost my source for methyl, and I had to go back to cyano, which is really sad. And life was sad for about 4 years until I found this website, and I got super excited because I thought, okay, if this is for real, then all my problems are solved. I don't know what it's like for you watching this video, like if you've had problems just getting your regular dose of cyanocobalamin or whatever it is you take, but I could never get the doctors to prescribe the right needle, or like they would forget one prescription and then I would have the serum but like not the needles. So, and basically every time I would go to the doctor, they would somehow forget that I have taken this my entire life and cannot absorb it through food, and there's no way else to get it. So it's really frustrating. I just want to be able to have access to this stuff and give it to myself. So I was super excited to find this website. I've been using it for about 3 months now, and it's great. I feel amazing. Came in the mail as said, and I've been having actually people contact me, other potential customers, because I had a written testimonial online and they wanted to check and see if I was a real person. So yes, I am a real person, and I'm super excited about it. If you have questions about where to get the saline, the sterile saline, you can just get it on Amazon in the US, honestly. You can get insulin needles anywhere, like at CVS, they will give them to you without a prescription. If you want to do an IM shot with this stuff, you can just order syringes over the internet. I am a fan of gauges between, well, I like 23 gauge, maybe 25 works for some people too. It's even thinner. And yeah, good luck. Get this stuff. It will change everything.
Have you ever been trying to sleep at night and then your leg starts cramping and then you're just like, ah! That's how I felt for probably a month straight. Like every single night, trying to sleep, can't sleep. It's hard enough to sleep as it is with a vitamin B12 deficiency because of all the things that are going on, plus all the things that are going through your mind in terms of fear, in terms of how am I going to get better, in terms of like how long is this going to last, plus the physical things that you're going through. And then when you have a major leg cramp on top of that, you're not sleeping.
I'm proud of you, Sheriff. A lesser man would have talked under such torture.
I do remember, like, there would be times, because I usually go to bed around 10 o'clock, and it would hit like 10:30, boom. Or it would hit at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And it's just, that hurts, it hurts. There's nothing you can do about it too. Like, it's a cramp, and it's just, your muscle feels like it's just going in itself, and it's just like, okay, we just got to ride it out, and hopefully it doesn't happen again after that. I've had leg cramps in my life before, but not every night for a month straight, for sure. I mean, being in sports, and I think there are times where I'd be dehydrated and you could feel it cramp up, but that would just happen once in a blue moon. But this was another level. So I do remember it came on probably about halfway through my vitamin B12 deficiency as far as when I was experiencing symptoms. And it hit hard for a month. And then, You know, after getting, I don't know, just cleaning up my diet, and then once I'm on supplements, you know, vitamin B12 supplements, I haven't come back. So definitely research that more, because you'll see that with just a lack of vitamin B12, but also just vitamin B vitamins in general, just because they work synergistically together. If you're missing any of those, or if you're just low, it can cause symptoms like leg cramps. So just be aware of that. Let's make sure to eat our vegetables. Let's eat a lot of leafy greens, and, you know, get on that B12, and it shouldn't be a problem. Definitely get your potassium as well. Get out in the sun, get some vitamin D, eat a healthy, well-rounded diet, and a lot of your symptoms, other things that are not vitamin B12 related, deficiency related, those things will clear up too. Your mind will become clearer. You'll be able to think and process more clearly, and you'll just experience a whole host of benefits. If you've experienced crazy leg cramps before due to a vitamin B12 deficiency or otherwise, please let us know your story in the comment section below. Please subscribe. I want to build this community where we're all helping each other. All right. So every subscriber really helps contribute to the community. But more than subscribing, please comment, please reach out, please share what you've done to get better, to get healthy again, and let's all help each other out. All right, God bless.
I'm trying to remember what I forgot during my vitamin B12 deficiency, but I can't recall. Nah, I'm just kidding. When I had a vitamin B12 deficiency that was causing all my symptoms, memory loss was definitely one of the highest symptoms. There would be just many things that I knew, I just couldn't recall their names. And it's usually nouns, and usually simple household things like a fork, a spoon, and a knife. I'm just kidding. But I just remember that happening so many times. It's like, what is this called? I can't recall what it's called. Or in a conversation, if we're talking about sports or whatever, and it's like, what was that player's name? Or what was that stat line that I always knew until now? I just can't remember it. And I would definitely be in a stage of denial. Like, there was a time where I kept, it's so random, like, where I would be, I'd be thinking about, okay, what was that defensive back for the Minnesota Vikings? Antoine Winfield. That was his name. I remember. Of course, if I can remember Antoine Winfield's name, then I don't have memory loss. Psh, what was my brother's name again? Kind of things like that. It's just like, I would tell myself, Antoine Winfield. It's so random. Just this random Minnesota Vikings player. And I think that just gave me hope that I'm like, okay, I'm not losing my mind. I can still remember some random things, but I can't recall certain easy things, or I have to like really think about it and focus on it. Okay, that is a lamp. That is a bed. That is a backpack. You know, things like that. I would also have to repeat to myself a lot just to make sure that it's fresh in my mind and I could remember it. It's crazy. You come up with like little tips and tricks when you're going through something like that, but it was all, I knew my memory was getting worse, but at the same time, like, I didn't want to like accept that. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm 30 years old. How am I losing my mind already? And there was definitely a time where I had trouble recalling my brother's name, and I lived with him at the time. We were living in the same house, and I just couldn't recall. Like, I like have to think about it. That was a weird thing. I'm like, I have to think about it, and I've never ever have to think about. I don't know about you guys, but like to think about my siblings' names, to even think it. Like, who has to think about that? I mean, well, actually, now that I think of it, my mom would. She has 3 sons: Mark, Eric, and Kirk. And you know, just you ever get them mixed up? Just Bill, George, and Fred, basically. So I guess if my mom can forget, then I can. No, I'm just kidding. Mom doesn't forget. My mom doesn't forget. Mom, if you're watching, you don't forget. But I don't know. But in all honesty, like it was a little bit scary because like I knew my mind was just not what it used to be. As you might know, I grew up in the country of Haiti, but I never really spoke the language growing up. However, I learned it as an adult, as a young adult, spending a lot of time in the orphanage, walking in the streets, you know, conversations like that, asking a lot of questions, reading books, getting all the vocabulary. But after the vitamin B12 experience, I could see that my Creole speaking abilities were just lessened. Like I wasn't as good at Creole as I used to be. And that was strange. That was like a little bit strange. And I could tell just in a lot of different ways that my long-term memory for the most part was a lot stronger than my short-term memory. And so obviously English, I grew up speaking that. It's my first language. So that really wasn't a problem as much, but I had learned Creole more recently. So that was like, that would leave a lot easier, a lot quicker than English. Also many things like walking into a room, you know, gotta get up, go to the other room to get something. The ultimate short-term memory loss. I'd get up, walk into the room and like, okay, why am I here? I know I got up and walked over here for a reason, but don't remember. So I'm gonna just go back. And then I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, that's why. And then I go back and I'm like, okay, why am I here? It wasn't that bad, but I would have to repeat to myself, like, okay, I'm gonna go get this, I'm gonna go get this, I'm gonna go get this. And if I didn't repeat to myself, then it'd be like, okay, I'd have to sit there for a little bit. Lots of things like that. So I could definitely tell my short-term memory was more affected, more impacted than my long-term memory. It was definitely a scary year and a half in my life. If you guys have any questions, or if you're going through the same thing or similar things, or having vitamin B12 deficient symptoms, please reach out. Comment. I can never say that. Like, I don't see how these YouTubers are just like, comment section below, comment section. I can never say it. Okay. Comment in this section below, or how does it go? Write something in the comment section below? I think that was it. Okay, however all these YouTubers do it. Or reach out to me through the website, through email. I'm here for you if you want to ask any questions as someone who's gone through it before you have. Also, please subscribe. That would just help me get the message out, get the word out, and help other people who are in this predicament. So please hit that subscribe button, and God bless.
What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about muscle twitching. To describe what the muscle twitching looked like, if you can imagine taking just like a little electrical piece of metal and just like lightly touching that on the skin, like the skin's going to have a little reaction, and mine would kind of like do a double, and it would just do that consistently throughout the day and just wouldn't stop. So that's what it would look like. It looks like a muscle contraction. It's really quick, usually just located in a specific area of the body. It's not like every muscle is twitching, it's just like specific area. So basically, when I had the vitamin B12 deficiency, muscle twitching came on probably about the middle of the onset of all of my symptoms. So where it hit basically right here in that area. It hit as well there, just below the elbow, which is crazy because it's symmetrical, and I've always noticed that pattern with weakness especially. It also hit right here, right under the eye, and it'd just be like twitching, twitch, twitch. And that was like kind of embarrassing more than anything else. And thankfully that only happened like 2 or 3 for 2 or 3 days. But I'm just like, if my whole, like this is just twitching, it's gonna be weird to just go in public and talk to people. All they're gonna be looking at is like this, just going, So that's one symptom that you can potentially come across if you have a vitamin B12 deficiency. I tried several things to get rid of it. I put essential oils on it, but that helped a little bit. It kind of like died it down just a little bit, but what did it was when I just fully healed everything. So I started just eating lots of green vegetables, lots of salads. Hey, real quick guys, my goal with this channel is to just create a community where we all bring healing and health and answers to each other. So please subscribe, please comment, please share your story and how you got healed, or share what you're struggling with and maybe someone has the answer particularly for you. So please subscribe and join this community. Basically all healthy food. Then I fasted for a very long period of time after that, basically to just cleanse my body, give my body a rest, and let it, you know, do its thing in terms of just going throughout my entire body and bringing healing wherever it needs. And then all the while I'm doing vitamin B12 injections. So that is what did it for me. That's what healed it for me. I no longer have eye twitching. That was gone pretty quickly. But just be aware, if you suddenly start to see, you know, muscle twitching here and there, that could be a sign of nerve damage.
Look, I'm here because when I had a vitamin B12 deficiency, I wish that there was a YouTube channel or something that I could have come across that would have saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of hassle, and a lot of time. Because when, you know, I had the deficiency, my symptoms were getting worse every single day, tangibly, physically. So time was something I knew was running out. None of the 30 doctors that I saw told me about vitamin B12, so I had to figure it out a different way. And you can watch my story here to see what that's all about. But I'm here to save you money, and I'm here to save you time. When I first found out that I had a vitamin B12 deficiency, I started on the supplements, on the sublinguals, and those helped. And then I started going to clinics and getting injections. Those helped too, but not to the degree that I thought they would. And I was paying about $40, $50 per injection, so I'm like, there's no way that I can sustain this. But then I came across this product, and this product is about $2 per injection, and it's what brought me back to life within 2 weeks. Like, my body just healed completely, just like that. So $2, $50, you do the math. So this vitamin B12 product that I'm selling, that's the one I'm still currently using and will be using for the rest of my life. It's pure, all natural, methylcobalamin, vitamin B12. So if you're interested in ordering it, go ahead and click on the link below. Okay, so I had pain in my arms, in my legs, and in my feet. And when I had pain here though, it was such a pain in the neck. So the most pain that I ever felt during my vitamin B12 deficiency, other than when doctors would just give me a few seconds of their time and I paid them thousands of dollars and they just leave me there alone and sick, was physical pain, was in my arm. Right here, below the shoulder, but above the elbow. So, but not on the bicep either. So like on the outside.
There was one night I was sitting on the couch as usual due to weakness, due to the headache, and just general fatigue. So I'm sitting on the couch, and then all of a sudden, it seemed to always be around 7 o'clock at night. That's one thing I noticed, is every night pretty much at 7 o'clock, another symptom would flare up, something would get worse, more weakness, more tingling. But in this case, it was major pain. It started off as like a dull pain, but then it grew and it grew and it grew, and it wouldn't stop. It kept going. I'm like, like I couldn't, it was hard to really lift my arm because it was so much pain, and I'm just like, oh, this is killing me out of nowhere. I'm just sitting here minding my own business, and then this major pain right here. I would definitely have pain in my wrist as well. Those were like the two main areas. I noticed an interesting correlation too. So I would have pain here, and then immediately following the pain, after the pain subsided, then I would feel weakness. All the time, I noticed that. And then I also noticed that this, like my arm, correlate that to my leg. So this is just below or above, whatever way you're looking at it, but just above the hand, right? So right this area, I would notice that on my leg, so just above the ankle, that would get weak as well. And there came a point where I couldn't even stand up on my tippy toes. Like, I couldn't do it. I would rise up and then fall immediately. I think they call that drop foot. But that was a correlation. It was like symmetrical. I could notice weakness here and then weakness there at the same time. Also, in terms of pain, I felt a shortness of breath. And that wasn't painful, but what was painful is that I would have to take a big breath like that constantly, every minute. It got to, I think at the worst, it got to like every third breath I'd have to, and just really to get a full breath. And that action in and of itself got a little bit like, not pain, but it was just fatiguing. And it's like a tired muscle that you're overworked. But mostly the pain, the muscular pain, was right here and right here. If you have had any pain due to vitamin B12 deficiency or pernicious anemia or just nerve damage in general, please share your experience in the comment section below, and let's all help each other to get better, to get healthy. Again, the way I overcame my nerve damage and my pain was to eat super healthy, lots of green vegetables. I fasted for a significant period of time, and I also injected with vitamin B12. So those things in combination really healed my body, got rid of the nerve damage, got me back playing sports, working again. So it healed me, and that's the whole point of this channel, is whoever has nerve damage, especially due to a vitamin B12 deficiency, I want us to all help each other to get better. Please go ahead and subscribe, and let's all help each other. God bless.
Alright, so today I'm going to talk about numbness.
I can't feel my fingers anymore, Lloyd. They're numb.
My hand was so numb. Like, it came from here, so probably just below the wrist, and then just my right arm especially. I mean, a little bit would happen on my left, but mostly my right arm. And sometimes as well, it would come right around just below the shoulder. It would feel like a rubber band, or a lot of rubber bands, are wrapped around my arm. And then it's just like it cuts off circulation and nerve function, anything below, to anything below that. So it was painful sometimes, but a lot of the times it would just be numb. It's just numb. And it's just a weird feeling. it also can come back, even though like all my symptoms are gone. My symptoms can come back if I don't inject regularly, if I go too long without an injection, or if I eat too much processed sugar in one day. I'll feel it. Like, I'll feel the numbness come back for just a little bit.
Hey! Your hands are freezing!
And it's just like, man, it's the weirdest feeling. And I think the reason is because when you eat sugar, processed sugar is going to cause a lot of inflammation in your body. And when the inflammation irritates nerves that have had nerve damage in the past, then you're gonna feel some of the symptoms come back a little bit. What I would do sometimes is, like, I would go and I'd touch a surface just to make sure, okay, I still have feeling in this hand, I still have feeling in this finger. I would do that, just like, okay, that's smooth or that's rough, but at the same time, like, it's numb. And I would say a lot of my symptoms mirrored each other, and it's interesting because I could feel the numbness from here through my hand most of the time. And I could also feel that on my right leg. So it's my right arm and then my right leg just above the ankle. So kind of symmetrical to this, and then down through my foot. Don't know why, but I'm gonna research that and just figure out. I'm sure there's a very good reason as to why, but it was very interesting. A lot of my symptoms seem to do that. It's just mirror the sides of the body. But in this case, things that affected my right arm a lot of the time would affect my right leg too. And you can't quite feel everything the same if you're picking up a glass of water.
Maybe you should wear these extra gloves. My hands are starting to get sweaty.
Extra gloves? You've had this pair of extra gloves this whole time?
Yeah, we're in the Rockies.
You have to be very careful if you're picking up a pot off the stovetop and it's really hot and it's got boiling water or whatever. And if you can't feel your arms, your hands, if you don't have like full control over them as you did when you were healthy, that's when you have to like super concentrate and super take care to set things where they are. And because that's another thing, like, you're gonna feel displaced a little bit in terms of eye-hand coordination. And I noticed sometimes I would reach for like the fridge door and I would miss, or if I'm not looking, it's like I can do that all day, or turn the faucet on, and I would just I'd miss by like a ½ inch or an inch, and it's like, oh, okay, got to readjust, got to look where I'm putting my hand, and turn the faucet on, and there's just more attention to what you're doing, because the way it just affects your nerves, everything is just off a little bit. And then also with this symptom, I could feel like my hands were just slower, in terms of just being athletic, being in sports a lot of the time, or just even writing is more difficult, because those fine motor movements, and just feeling like there's a rubber band stuck around my wrist the whole time. But again, the way that I got rid of this was through eating super healthy, then fasting, just clearing all of the junk out of my body and preparing my body so that it can use the nutrients that I give it, so that it can bring healing to wherever in my body that needs it. Yes, fasting is difficult. Fasting is slow, ironically, fast, slow, but it's so effective. It's one of the most effective things for healing that out there. I highly recommend you do it while you supplement vitamin B12 if you have a vitamin B12 deficiency. So if you are experiencing numbness due to a vitamin B12 deficiency, please reach out. Please write in the comment section below just about your story and your experience. And if you've gotten better, please let us know what you did in order to get healthy again, because that's what this channel, that's what this community is all about. I want us all to help each other. Please hit the subscribe button. Join me. And let's grow this community and all get healthy once again. All right, God bless.
With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict
and bring order to the galaxy. If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Harry! Your hands are freezing!
I hate that pins and needles feeling. So the pins and needles and the tingling feeling.
Where are you? Follow the cold shiver running down your spine.
That started well into my vitamin B12 deficiency experience. I remember the first time that it started happening, I had to ask my mom, like, Mom, are you feeling the mosquitoes too? Because it felt like little pricks, just in random places in my body. And for the first couple days, I legitimately thought it was mosquitoes that were just inside the house. And I was just wondering, like, why isn't anyone else getting bit? Why am I the only one getting bit? But then it dawned on me later on, is just like, okay, this has to do with the nerve damage. And just because it's just random places all over. For the pins and needles, there wasn't any specific time of day that it would come on. It would come on just randomly throughout the day. It could be in my legs, it could be in my arms, sometimes even in my face, my chest. You just feel it, just my back, anywhere. Just a little prick, 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 and then done. Prick, 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 done. So sometimes it felt like a mosquito bite. Those were the sharper pricks, but a lot of the time it's just like little, like tingling, and it's hard to describe, but like pins and needles is the way I describe it. I just want to create an ecosystem of people who are together trying to heal each other. So you might have the answer for someone else, or they might have the answer for you, or I might be able to help you, or you help me. We're all about trying to get all of us 100% healthy. So go ahead and subscribe, and let's help each other out. I think another thought that came to mind early on when it started was, why is it raining inside? Why is it raining indoors? Like, I can feel like little raindrops, like, but obviously it's just funny, like the things that come to your mind, just because it's so out of the ordinary. Like, up until that point in my life, entire life, I've not felt pins and needles that way. So all of a sudden it just starts happening, and you just think, okay, I guess our minds go back to like what we have experienced before. Everyone has experienced raindrops falling on them, and you feel a little or a mosquito bite. But and don't think mosquito bite, it's not like it's itchy, but it just felt like there's a little something there, you know. One interesting thing about the pins and needles was that it was one of the last symptoms to come on. So going in reverse, it was one of my first symptoms to go. So when I started eating lots of green vegetables, I added fasting, extended periods of fasting to that, and then also the vitamin B12 injections, which was the most powerful thing. Once I started doing all of those, the pins and needles was gone quickly. One of the first things to leave right away. So I've heard other people say this as well, like your symptoms in the order that they came on is the reverse order that they will leave. So other people have said that. Definitely that was my experience as well in this case. So if you have had experience with the tingling, with the pins and needles, and you would like to share about it, please comment in the section below. I can never say that. Please write in the comment section below. Please type whatever it is you do. Put it down there in the comment section below and share your experience. Share how you got better, or share if you're struggling with it. Let's all get each other healthy again. So please subscribe, and God bless.
Violet, you're turning violet, Violet. You're blowing up.
I feel funny.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, today I'm going to talk about shortness of breath. Shortness of breath came on well into my vitamin B12 deficiency experience, and it was one of the more scary symptoms. It kind of came on gradually, but at first I didn't really notice it. I thought it was because I hadn't been working out for over a year, and I thought maybe I'm just breathing harder just because I'm just just get out of breath easier because I haven't really moved much. Because I've always been a runner, played a lot of basketball, a lot of soccer and volleyball my entire life. I love running, going on bike rides. So it was weird to like walk from the couch to the kitchen and get winded because it's like, okay, this is not my normal experience, but felt my capacity to take in a breath get smaller. Hey, real quick guys, the point of all these videos is to create an ecosystem where we all help each other to get better. You might have the answer for someone else, or they might have the answer for you. I can help you, you can help me. So I wanted to create a community where we help each other grow to be 100% healthy. So if you could please subscribe and please write your thoughts, write your comments, your experiences, and share it with the rest of us. That would be super helpful. Okay, back to the symptom. So it started off small. It was barely noticeable, but it was there. But as time went on, it just it got worse and worse. And it felt like, kind of like how when you're trapped underwater for just a little bit too long and you're kind of just struggling for air. I remember thinking that, how is this going to work while I'm sleeping? Because it's more and more where I have to like struggle, I have to take a full breath, as time went on. And I do remember thinking, like, when I'm sleeping, am I getting enough oxygen? And if I'm not getting enough oxygen into my body, what other symptoms is that going to cause? Which is kind of a scary thing. I wasn't worried about like not breathing at all, but definitely it concerned me not to get enough oxygen into my blood while I'm sleeping, for sure, because I can't be while I'm sleeping. So not being able to breathe normally while I'm awake was concerning, but even more concerning was like those questions about while I'm sleeping. It got to a point, like it continued to get worse and worse and worse, and it got to a point where I'm like, I feel at its worst, and I don't know if this is a reality, but the thought that kept crossing my mind is like, I feel like I'm getting like 30% capacity, 30% of the air that I need. And I really have to, breathe it in to get a full breath. Probably every minute or two, I'd have to do that. Just to get a full breath, enough oxygen. And just that motion, that alone, that made me feel fatigued. And it was, because it's not easy. This is supposed to be just automatic. You don't have to think about your breathing. But for this, like, I had to physically draw in a big breath, and that got fatiguing, especially all day, every day. I got tired. This was one of the last symptoms to come on for me, so when I started to heal, it was one of the first symptoms to leave. Again, I've seen with myself, and I've seen a lot of people talk about how the order of the symptoms, how they come on, is in reverse order is how they leave. So that was definitely the case for me here. And thank goodness, because that was a scary symptom, so I'm glad that was like gone pretty quickly. So what healed me was getting enough green vegetables, fasting, extended periods of fasting, and then the vitamin B12 injections, which was the most powerful thing by far, but also potassium, making sure to get enough potassium, and vitamin D. Just get outside, get in the sun. Those things together synergistically, along with a healthy diet overall, those things just healed me pretty quickly. So if you have any experience with shortness of breath, please share your experience with the rest of us. Go ahead and check out my video here where I talk about the pain I experienced during my vitamin B12 deficiency, or check out this video right here, which YouTube thinks is best for you to watch next.
Okay. Guess I'm good.
B12, be you, live your life. Let's go.
Oh my god.
That looks so cool though, like with the light reflecting off the water.
But look at his...
Is that one? That one's sunshine. But how cool is this? I was literally talking to Salem about like, have you seen any starfish? And then, boom, about an hour later, we're looking down and we see starfish. Look how big that is.
Wow.
Oh my god. Dang.
He said, he was like, it's big.
Wait, hold that one up. That is huge.
That'll be Mark's.
Oh my gosh. That's SpongeBob. That one's SpongeBob. We named it Sunshine, which is cool because the sun is also a star. Here we are. Hello, get up. Everything. Where you at?
No, I haven't found some crazy elixir with vitamin B12 taken from the tentacles of starfish in the depths of the ocean that will cure everyone of all their ailments 100%. Although, who knows, maybe that's a thing, I don't know. But what I do know is that if I did not start on vitamin B12 injections when I did, I would be dead. I would not be experiencing the beauty of Haiti, the ocean, and finding starfish right now. I mean, I was nearly in a wheelchair before vitamin B12 injections, so I would not be doing backflips off a water trampoline in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean without them. Vitamin B12 injections gave me my life back, pure and simple. I was on a downward health spiral for over a year, and when I got on the vitamin B12 injections, I was healed within about 2 weeks. So my goal here is to give you your life back. I got my life back, I want to give you your life back. You can get better. You can get healthy. And if you think you would like to give vitamin B12 injections a shot, then contact me through the website listed below.
Get your vitamin B12, be you.
There is the widespread thought that low levels of vitamin B12 can increase your levels of homocysteine, and then increased levels of homocysteine lead to higher percentage or a higher risk of having a stroke. This is particularly concerning amongst vegetarians who don't supplement with vitamin B12. And this is also cause for concern amongst us who have pernicious anemia or just have a vitamin B12 deficiency of some kind for whatever reason. But especially if you are a vegetarian, I definitely recommend getting on a vitamin B12 supplement of some kind. Or if you're just getting older, we tend to not absorb vitamin B12 as easily the older we get. So even taking a supplement that you swallow or just a sublingual, anything like that. But if you have a major vitamin B12 deficiency, I would start to look at injections just because those are the most powerful since the B12 goes directly into your bloodstream. But I am recommending this video on homocysteine by nutritionfacts.org because they do a good job of just explaining the risks and they give data to back it up, randomized tests, control tests. So it's very well done. This guy knows his stuff, and this is definitely a concern that we have to be aware of. So please check out this video. It's in the description below, and enjoy.
Today I'm going to talk about a swollen tongue. So, welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to talk about a swollen tongue. That was one of the symptoms that came on in the middle, and it was honestly one of the most like scratch your head symptoms. I'm like, how everything is happening to me. I'm getting weak, I'm getting brain fog, I'm getting pins and needles, but then I'm like, why does my tongue feel like, it feels like it's enlarged, like a swollen, it just feels bigger, and I feel like it's not, I can't move it, I can't maneuver it, I can't pronounce words as easily as I used to. What does that have to do with anything? Why would that happen? So I had no idea at the time. It just kind of hit out of the blue. Like I said, it was kind of in the middle of all of my symptoms coming on. It's a little bit embarrassing. At the same time, I think pretty much I was the only one who noticed it. No one ever made any comments or anything, but I would overcompensate for sure. So trying to pronounce S's instead of F's, you know, like if you make your tongue like really big, like, and just make it lazy, that's how it felt. It felt enlarged and lazy. So I'd overcompensate once I got on vitamin B12 injections, especially when I was fasting, eating green vegetables, and then adding the B12 injections. That went away pretty quick.
I don't think we have to wait before if we know the miracle works.
Your guess is as good as mine. I'll beat you apart. I'll take you both together.
If I would eat sugar, like processed sugar, I could feel it come back a little bit, but for the most part, gone completely. So, and now we're all good, right? So I would also feel, and I don't know if it's related or not, but I would also feel like in my hands, it'd feel like I'm wearing gloves all of a sudden. It's just like they got bigger, and it's just like, it felt like my extremities would just get...
You're blowing up!
I feel funny!
I don't know if looking at them or looking at my tongue, if I would notice if it's bigger, but that's just how it felt. It felt like a little swollen, puffed up, and just not, again, same as the tongue, I'm just not able to like do everything that I was able to do. And yeah, especially on the tongue, like that's really pronounced. You gotta pronounce your words, and your tongue has to be really maneuverable, if that's a word.
What are you gonna do? I don't know, the phone rang! Yeah.
You know, that is just how I felt, and some of you have reached out to me and have expressed the same. So again, get on the vitamin B12, really cleanse your body, cleanse it of any toxins, any excess processed sugar needs to be gone. Really get on those vegetables, because the folate content really helps with the vitamin B12 absorption. When I started eating green salads every single day, I didn't need as many injections. I still need injections, so now I'm about every 3 weeks. But if I'm eating a good old big green salad every day, that helps with the vitamin B12 absorption. So I really encourage you guys to do that. Also, please subscribe, please share your experience. Let's build this community where we help each other to get healthy and to get whole. So please subscribe, and God bless.
Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to talk about tinnitus, ear ringing. So I had tinnitus probably hit me later on in my vitamin B12 deficiency experience. It's something that a lot of people undergo even without a vitamin B12 deficiency, but for me it came on and it was like really strange, because it's like your ear is just like, it'll ring and it kind of feels like your hearing is less, just momentarily. It'll last for probably 10 seconds or so, but for that 10 seconds, it's like my hearing is dulled, and this like sharp ringing, like will just, you know how the sound effects like in the movies after a big car wreck, something like that. But yeah, I could definitely, that was definitely a symptom that came on during the vitamin B12 deficiency experience, and it lasted a while too. That it was pretty much daily, and not gonna lie, kind of felt kind of cool sometimes.
What?
I don't know why that is, but at the same time, it's just like, this is not normal, and this needs to go. So obviously, in this case, it's a nerve issue, and once that is healed, then that will leave. It was one of the symptoms that came on later, therefore, it was one of the first symptoms to leave once I was healed. And the way I got healed again was, real quick, I just want to take a second to say, hey, please share your story, share what you've been through, share how you got better, because you might have the answer that someone else is looking for. So please hit subscribe, please share your experience with us. Let's make a community where we can all help each other to become healed. Really ate a lot of green vegetables, a lot of just pure healthy food. Then, after I loaded up on my vitamins, I fasted for an extended period of time, and then all the while I am doing vitamin B12 injections. So all of these things combined are what aided my healing, and healing pretty quickly. I went from almost being in a wheelchair and a host of other symptoms. You can check out my other videos just to see I'm starting to talk about those more and more. And I was just healed from all of these within a matter of 2 weeks. And that's not something I really come across with other people and their experience. Sometimes it takes months, and sometimes they're not even healed all the way. But that was my experience, and so I want to help you guys as much as I can. So go ahead, check out the other videos over here, or what YouTube thinks is best for you right here. God bless.
So I've always had good eyesight. You could say I have 20/20 vision.
Let's just get this off the table. We're all sick of hearing 20/20. So I had a lot of symptoms. I had the weakness going on. I had brain fog, balance issues, all of that, pins and needles. And then on top of that came this vision, not vision loss, but just things became blurry. So I guess an aspect of vision loss, but things became blurry on the other side of the wall. Details I'm used to seeing, or things I'm used to being able to read at a certain distance, it suddenly became a little bit blurry, and it was definitely noticeable. Pretty concerning. And the thing is, I didn't need glasses. I didn't need contacts. While those things are useful and beneficial, what truly would have cured me was vitamin B12. Just getting that into my system, boom, then the vision loss went away, and boom, I could see clearly again. Now, the vision loss was one of the last symptoms to come on. So when I started the B12 and eating super healthy and fasting while supplementing, while taking the injections, that was one of the first symptoms to leave. So it came on last and it went off first. Like, that's been the typical progression, is things that would come on, the symptoms that would come on first tended to stick around until the last, and the ones that came on last left first. So kind of nice, because that was a scary one. Although I would say the heart palpitations was definitely the scariest, and the hampered breathing, where I had to struggle to get a breath, that was definitely scary. But then the vision, because I never had experienced that before. So again, once getting on the B12, the vision cleared right up and we are good to go. And now you could say I have 20/21 vision.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mark Williams. Today I'm going to share with you guys what I eat in a day using puns. Here we go. Why do peppers make bad girlfriends? Because they constantly jalapeno business. So if mom leaves her alphabet soup on the stove and forgets about it, it would spell disaster. Once upon a time, there was a dog named Barry. One day, Barry ripped up all the furniture and all of the cushions in this one woman's house. That woman said very angrily, "That's the last straw, Barry." That's so good. Okay guys, shh. I got banned from a secret food society for spilling the beans. Let's have a garden party. Let us turnip the beets. Oh my gosh, that's so corny. I can't even... How are you still watching this? Do you know what side of the turkey has the most feathers? The outside. Why did the Greek salad get so angry? It got fed up over all of the other salads picking on it. Ah! What do you call a food revolution? An uprising. I would drive you tonight, but I don't avocado. What type of music does broccoli listen to? Rock and roll. Why are there 2 doors in a chicken coop? Because if there were 4 doors, it would be a chicken sedan. Yeah, not that one. Quinoa ghetto, what? Why did the blueberry go out with the fig? Because he couldn't find a date. Stupid. Why do Chinese pirates never get scurvy? Because they all speak Mandarin. I apologize for not finding a better pun for this fruit. Girls, if you don't appreciate your fruit puns, then you just gotta let that mango. So bad. I usually shop for celery at this time of the year, but right now they're out of stock. Okay, so sorry, I apologize. Cannot believe you made it this far through. Awesome. Okay, so this is the ideal diet that I have when I'm here in the States. I don't eat all of these things every day, but generally within a week I eat, all of these things. When I'm in Haiti, not all of these items are readily available, but most of them are. So fairly similar diets between when I'm living in the States and when I'm living in Haiti. And disclaimer, I do still eat pizza, hamburgers, ice cream. I'm only human. But when I do eat these things, I can feel my symptoms come back just a little bit because these foods cause inflammation in my body. So I kind of pay the price for it a little bit. But who doesn't enjoy a good ice cream cone every once in a while? Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you want more content. I'm going to continually be making more videos. Maybe more pun videos. I mean, we had a lot of pun here. Alright, God bless. Our B12 vial contains a minimum of 40 injections. That's nearly a year's supply if you have a major deficiency. And over 3 years supply if you only inject once a month. That's a lot of B12. This enables you to make a single purchase and then not have to worry about it again for a very long time. Our vitamin B12 has no additives, no fillers, it's just pure, all-natural vitamin B12. So, if you're a human being with nerve issues, get the vitamin supplement that will heal your nerves completely. I'm living proof of it. And the beauty of this vitamin B12 is that it's produced and manufactured in Europe, which keeps costs low and quality high. If for whatever reason this supplement doesn't work for you, then we'll reimburse you half of your payment. No questions asked. Keep the entire bottle, it's all yours. All we ask is that you just tell us in a few sentences what your vitamin B12 deficiency experience has been like. Patch up your wires, heal your nerves, and get that electricity back to your organs so that they can work properly. Vitamin B12 has healed thousands upon thousands of people. Here's what they have to say. And last of all, there's me. I had a vitamin B12 deficiency that nearly killed me. I was looking at being in a wheelchair within a month, and I would have died within a year. But thanks to this vitamin B12 product, I'm now living my life again. And now I'm here to help you get healthy. B12, be you, and get your electricity back.
I've been watching you.
One way that you can have a vitamin B12 deficiency is if you have what we call pernicious anemia. And that's where you don't have enough intrinsic factor to be able to absorb the vitamin B12. So it works like this. You eat something that has vitamin B12 in it, like meat. The meat then goes through your stomach and you have the stomach acid and other things that pull the vitamin B12 out of the meat, right? Then your stomach will release what's called intrinsic factor, which will bind to the vitamin B12, and then it makes its way down the small intestine, and it gets to a place where it would release the B12 into your bloodstream. But if you don't have intrinsic factor, which is basically the gateway from your stomach into your bloodstream, it's the key. And if you don't have that, if you don't have enough of that, then the vitamin B12 just never gets into your bloodstream. And if you don't have enough vitamin B12, then you're gonna eventually develop symptoms like pins and needles, brain fog. It can affect your DNA synthesis, your red blood cell count can be too low. It can just create all sorts of havoc on your body. If you read around enough, if you go into group chats, if you Google, if you even look on YouTube, you'll see that people say that pernicious anemia cannot be healed. I don't know if I agree with that, just because, I mean, in one of my recent videos, you see someone who was paralyzed for 6 years. Now they're running marathons. I truly do believe that anything is possible, that we can find healing for pretty much everything. So I believe it's out there. I am going to be researching more into this. A lot of people say it's an autoimmune disease, and the good thing is we know how to heal a lot of autoimmune diseases if you research again deep enough, and you see that people are reversing their autoimmune diseases all the time. But if you listen to doctors, they may or may not agree with that, or they might not have been exposed to that and might not know. But that is possible. So if pernicious anemia is an autoimmune disease, then I would think that it is possible. So now we just got to find out how. I would definitely think a good place to start is the stomach, where we need to be producing enough acid. Also, if you have an intestinal overgrowth of bacteria, that needs to be brought under control, so that we're absorbing the vitamins enough. None of us want to supplement forever. None of us want to inject forever. So it's my goal to heal everybody of their vitamin B12 deficiency. So that would include, in this case, healing whatever's causing there not to be enough intrinsic factor in our bodies. So I'm going to set out to discover this and to use it on myself, and then hopefully see it with other people. So I want to heal our bodies through natural foods, organic foods. I even sell vitamin B12 injection vials, and I would love to not have to sell them, because that means that we all have been healed and our bodies have been restored, and we don't need to do all this nonsense. So nothing would make me happier than to find the cure and to just spread that as much as possible. Now, there are other reasons why we can have a vitamin B12 deficiency, but pernicious anemia is definitely one of them. So if you'd like to be along for the ride, if you want to see how this progresses and the natural things that we try and how we heal and get better, please hit the subscribe button. Please share this with any friends that might be having some of these symptoms, and let's all do our part to help each other together get better. God bless. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to talk today about pernicious anemia and vitamin B12 and the progressions that one typically takes. So the way it works is typically you want to start with the least invasive supplement. So that would be the type of supplement the pill that you swallow, goes into your stomach, into your intestines, and you absorb it that way. However, that doesn't always work, especially with people who have pernicious anemia. With people who cannot absorb vitamin B12 through their stomach, then they have to find an alternate route in order to get the vitamin B12 into their bloodstream. And then the blood brings that vitamin where it needs to go. So if that doesn't work, then the next thing to try would be a sublingual. So that's the type of supplement that you put under your tongue, let it dissolve, and then it gets into your bloodstream that way, because it's very absorbent, your tongue, that area, and the B12 just gets right into your bloodstream, and works pretty well. So that's something I tried, and that is the first thing that really showed me, oh, vitamin B12 is definitely what I need. That's definitely what I'm lacking, because I was on a downhill slope for over a year. And then as soon as I got on vitamin B12 sublinguals, then that kind of just like evened out. But I knew the sublinguals weren't powerful enough for me to be able to really get my health going back straight up. So that's why I progressed to vitamin B12 injections. So after I got on the vitamin B12 injections, it was within 2 weeks. Like, my symptoms were all gone like that. And I had a lot of symptoms. I had over 30 different symptoms. You can check out some of the videos I've made and will continue to make regarding the symptoms that I was experiencing. But I mean, the injections, vitamin B12 injections, that gets that vitamin B12 directly into your bloodstream. So that's as effective as it gets. However, it is the most invasive because you do have to inject yourself with a syringe, the needle. So I would say what I recommend is try with the supplement that you swallow, And if that isn't producing any results, if you know you have a vitamin B12 deficiency, and if that isn't producing any kind of results at all, then I would progress to the sublingual vitamin B12. And then if that's not really getting you where you need to be, then progress to the vitamin B12 injections. And you can check out on the website that I have listed, that is the supplement, that is the vitamin B12 injections that cured me of all my symptoms. I still have to continue to inject about once a month just to maintain it, but it got rid of all my symptoms and it got my life back. So please join our community. Please type out below your story, where you've come from, how you're managing, what you've done to kind of heal yourself to be more physically fit and healthy. And please subscribe. Please join our community, get involved, get active. Let's all help each other to get healthy and whole. God bless. Handling a vitamin B12 deficiency, no sweat. I had what you call anhydrosis, which is where you don't sweat.
Jafar, can you hurry up? I'm dying in here.
And that was definitely one of the strangest symptoms because it would just happen out of the blue, and that's not something you would typically think that would happen. But again, nerves affect everything. So, and vitamin B12 deficiency affects the nerves, which then, of course, affects everything. So I would be sitting in the car in Dallas in the summertime, in the sun, windows up, AC off, and I wouldn't sweat at all. Like, not even a little bit, not even armpit sweat, nothing. And let me tell you, I am a sweater. Like, I play sports, we get into it, and I sweat. Like, I'll sweat my entire shirt, shorts, everything. If I'm out there in that Caribbean heat, like, it's over. So not sweating at all is a big deal, is a big concern. It might seem like a blessing. It might be like, whoa, he doesn't sweat at all, that's awesome. But it made me have thoughts like, would I be able to go to the Caribbean again? Do I just have to be in cold climates now for the rest of my life? Do I get to play sports again? You know, all these things were coming into my mind. And those are hard to handle. Those are definitely hard thoughts to think about, because those are things I love. I love warm weather. I love the sun. I love playing sports. I do not like the cold. The cold is painful. Cold is painful.
I'm not smoking. I'm breathing.
And on top of all of that, sweating is really healthy. It cleanses toxins through your pores, and that boosts your immune system, and then it cools down your body's temperature in circumstances where you really need it. You have to have it. So, super healthy function of your body that you have to have. However, needless to say, all the sweat came back, thank God, after I got on the vitamin B12 injections. So those injections like really cleared up everything, and that was one of the first symptoms to leave because it was one of my last symptoms to come on. So I'm very grateful for that. Please subscribe, please be a part of this community, please communicate to the rest of us the things you're going through and how you've healed, how you've gotten better, or if you're struggling with something vitamin B12 deficiency related, please reach out and we would all love to help. God bless. So a very common symptom of a vitamin B12 deficiency that I hear about a lot is people having balance issues. just trouble walking. I'm going to explain my story in just a little bit, but first, if you can go ahead and subscribe if you're interested in learning more about vitamin B12 deficiencies and how to overcome them, please hit that subscribe button, and here we go. It kind of feels like you don't know where you're putting your feet. It's like my foot's going there, my right foot's going there, left foot, and you know, just walking, it just feels different. It is kind of hard to explain because you can see your legs moving, but you don't know if they're actually gonna like land in the spot that you're putting them. I didn't have it like terribly bad, but I could feel like things just be a little bit off. I mean, couple that with the dizziness and the brain fog and the weakness, it was just like, yeah, the lack of balance is concerning, especially like, because I've been an athlete my whole life.
By Decker, and Decker's got a clear pass. Oh, he falls down!
Kind of have to have balance to play sports, and it was just like, what is wrong with me? I'm young. I should be in good shape. Why I can't even walk properly. Like, not that anyone would notice, but I can notice for myself. So it kind of felt like I was in a major earthquake in 2010 in Haiti, and it kind of felt like in the earthquake, that lasted for like 36 seconds. That was going on forever. And when I was in the earthquake, it felt like I was walking on boards that were put on the ocean and just on the waves. And it's like, try to walk on those boards and try to get out the house before the house potentially collapses. It kind of had that similar feeling, not to that degree. It's kind of like walking on the boards on water.
Hit me! Teaches flamboyant shuffling techniques to dull blackjack dealers. And looks like he got dealt a bad hand.
It's just like put your right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot forward, left foot forward, and you know, get to your spot. But it's just like, this feels weird, and I hope this doesn't last forever. So, but good thing is that with vitamin B12 injections, that went away pretty quickly. Again, like I've mentioned in other videos, the symptoms seem to come on and then leave in reverse order. So like this balance issue being one of the later ones to come on, it was one of the first ones to leave once I started the vitamin B12 injections. And I coupled that with fasting and, you know, just eating healthy, eating really healthy for a long period of time, and then fasting while doing the injections. That healed, like my body was like back to pretty much normal within 2 weeks. And that's crazy. That is not the case that I hear from a lot of people, but I mean, I was going downhill for over a year. I know I would have been within a month, I would have been in a wheelchair just because it was so laborious. Getting up and especially getting in and out of cars was like the worst. Yeah, so I had major weakness, major brain fog. I had a ton of symptoms. So it wasn't like, oh, he just had a little vitamin B12 deficiency. No, it wasn't that, but yeah, I did something right. You know, I get plenty of vitamin D. I'm always in the sun. I'm always outside. You know, just eating healthy, getting all those vitamins and nutrients really helps. It just helps everything work better, especially your dark green vegetables. And get that folate. It helps with B12 absorption. And yeah, and then fasting while supplementing, just giving your body a rest, a break, and just letting it use its energy to really use those vitamins, use those nutrients that are stored up, that are in your bloodstream now, and just put them to work. You know, not having to use the energy to digest food. Now let's use the energy to heal the body. So that was the thinking there, and it worked. I know a lot of people are hesitant about fasting, and I get that. I'm just telling you what worked for me. Definitely, if you have a vitamin B12 deficiency and you're not able to absorb B12, then definitely you've got to be supplementing, whether that's sublingual or injections. But get on it as fast as possible because you just don't want your symptoms to digress, to get worse. Because, you know, obviously the longer they go without being healed, the longer it's going to take to heal them. We don't want to get to the point where you're going to have permanent damage. So let's nip that in the bud and let's get on top of it and, you know, get you better as soon as possible. So if you've ever had balance issues, go ahead and share your story here. Share what it felt like. And then share how you got better. Hopefully you're better now. Just share with our community just how you're feeling and the things that you did to overcome this vitamin B12 deficiency. All right, guys, subscribe if you have not. And yeah, God bless.
Burning nerves. Such a pain in the arm.
My whole body's a weapon.
I had burning nerve pain that came on really strongly, and it really hit me right here. So on my right arm, right below the shoulder, right above the bicep, and that burned so bad. It burned so bad. There was one night in particular, I was on the phone, and it just came on strong, and it was just burning. It felt like a ring of fire.
I fell into a burning ring of fire
Around my arm right there. And I had felt it other times, but never to that degree. This was one of the symptoms that came on later in my vitamin B12 deficiency. So it is one of the first symptoms that left as soon as I started taking my vitamin B12 injections. And as soon as I started fasting and eating a lot of green vegetables for their folate content, really cutting out processed sugar, and just eating all healthy things, especially green vegetables. And then of course, always injecting vitamin B12, whether I'm eating healthy food or whether I'm going through periods of fasting, I'm always injecting vitamin B12. And that is what caused it to go away. But I had it here predominantly. Sometimes it would